Hey guys, welcome to the Volume 2 catalog review. I am here with a bunch of awesome guests that I can't wait to introduce to you guys. We're just going to have a big roundtable discussion, say our bits on it, and see what we love and see what we hate. So, I'd like to introduce my guests, which are with me today. First, I will just say their name, let them say a little bit, and we'll go on from there. So first off, we've got Chris's Trains and Things.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited to kind of work through this catalog with everyone. I know there's a lot of reviews already out there, but it's great to have a great network of hobbyists here and get everybody's opinions and see what their thoughts are. So I'm excited for what comes out. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, love to have you here, Chris. And next, we've got another special guest, DJ.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is exciting. New catalog and all of us here talking about it together. It's good stuff, and looking forward to this discussion and looking forward to what's in store. So thanks for having me, and yeah, cheers.
Yeah, thank you so much, dude. Next, we've got a guy you might kind of know about. His name is JDStucks or Jason or something.
There, I had to take it off mute. Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me. Excited to chat with y'all and talk about the Lionel catalog, because I love Lionel.
He's well known as the Lionel guy, obviously. Thank you again, dude. Up next, we have a friend of mine. I love talking to you, MattyC. Hey, how you doing, dude?
What's up, everybody? How we doing? This is gonna be a lot of fun. This is a fantastic group of guys to talk trains with. Gonna be really interesting to hear everybody's extended thoughts. I'm sure everybody's heard some of their reviews already, but very awesome to get a big group of us here. Very excited to jump into the catalog with you all.
Awesome, thanks, dude. Next, we have another awesome friend of mine, Otaku Railfan. How you doing, man?
Hey guys, happy to be here.
That's awesome to have you, dude. Up next, we have RJ. RJ, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, other than the fact Lionel decided that they were coming after me to bankrupt me. And we didn't force Jason to say that about Lionel. That is 100% his feelings, 100% sober. He loves Lionel. He's all in on Lionel now.
Thank you.
You saw how much money I've spent on Lionel in the past 2 years. It makes sense.
Next, we have a really close friend of mine. You'll hear his name a lot on the channel. Sid, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. I'm glad to be here with all of you, and I can't wait to get into this amazing catalog we have.
Awesome, dude. And last but not least, one of the most well-known people in the hobby is Steve K. How you doing, man?
Glad to be here. I'm sure I bring a different angle to this picture here. Glad to go over the catalog. I just want to throw out one thought right at the beginning. This is a new world for me. I remember the days the catalog came in and we paged through it, drooled over it, and we thought about what we were going to buy. And we waited till it actually made it to the store and then purchased it. But I got to say, the last 3 years, I've gotten into this with the pre-orders, and I'm excited to go over this catalog with everyone. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us, and that goes to everybody. So now that we have all of our guests introduced, we might have another one coming in later. We don't know yet, so we have a latecomer. I'll introduce them later. But without further ado, let's get into the catalog. So we're gonna go quickly bounce through the engines. We can give. Let someone, if they want to, give an introduction, and after that, we'll open up to roundtable discussion where everyone can just kind of say what they want to do. So first, we're starting off with the Legacy Steam, and this is the item that everybody's excited over, which is the new Lionel 210 Strasbourg 90, and these things are awesome. So I'm a humble Midwesterner. This doesn't hit me as hard as it does for the other guys, but MattyC, would you mind doing the honors of introducing this and starting the discussion?
I said it before to a lot of other people, and I'll say it to all of you again. I genuinely, when they revealed it during the LCCA summit, I genuinely pinched myself. I'm like, there is no way they did this. I was like, this is an engine that I genuinely thought was never, ever coming into fruition. I said it to myself back when I was in middle school. I was 11 years old, and I was saying, this is an engine that only Walt Disney can produce, okay? So the fact that they finally released this locomotive, it's a dream come true. It's to many people, it's something that's goes a little bit beyond model railroading, myself included. The engine is like family to me. It was the first train I ever saw on a family vacation my parents took me on. It was my first family trip with them. I was 4 years old, and it was the first steam locomotive I ever saw, ever. Hearing its whistle, its bell, everything, it basically put the nail in the coffin for me to be in the trains, like, forever. And the engine itself, Lionel delivered. I don't think it's any indication that they're going to mess this engine up. The fact that they were basically, like, we're working on this engine for the last 3.5 years, and the fact that they put so much time, effort, and dedication into an engine that's not even a Vision Line product is really amazing. And I couldn't be more happier that they are giving everybody something that they could enjoy about the model. The fact that you're going to get basically every paint scheme that the engine's ever had in its history, at least the most notable paint schemes. So you have the 90s paint scheme, you have the 2000s, which is what she's done up in right now. You have the 1967 2020 paint scheme, which is a typo. Some people don't realize the 2020 scheme. Last year they did a photo charter in that scheme. Very different. It has the old egg logo on the side of the tender. Great. And all the other railroads, really awesome to see. I think this is going to be a home run. I think this is going to be a very special engine to many other people out there, and it's been a saga if you think about it. Like, it's people have been Lionel's been teasing this model for so many years, and the fact that it was a bunch, basically the whole hobby, to get together and say we want this, and Lionel finally acknowledged the fact that, you know what, there really truly is a market for an engine like this. And I again, like I said, couldn't be happier. I'm very curious to hear everybody else's thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know who could give it more of a who could present it better than this. So I'm glad that you were able to do that. Hey Tim, that's another one of our guests. I'll introduce him soon. But so with the introduction out of the way, I have to ask the big question: who is gonna be going poor with this engine? I want to see a show of hands. Who's going poor with this engine? It looks like a majority of you guys. So I'll open up to open forum. You guys let loose. So what do you guys think?
So I want to touch on something that Matt brought up, and shout out to our friend Bernsey, who couldn't join us tonight, but you're in our thoughts and prayers, Bernsey.
It's like he's dead.
He's not dead. Calm down.
He is to us. He's not here tonight.
So anyways, go ahead.
So he brought up a really great point that Lionel's 90 is basically a Vision Line model that's not Vision Line. Like, when the Vision Line originally started, you know, you had the 210-10-2, the Santa Fe that was recently released. The ES44s, which were brand new at the time for the railroads, and the PRR 0880. And Lionel went through the painstaking process of making sure that those models were as accurate as possible, even though they weren't widely produced locomotives in the North American market on the actual railroads. And that's a lot what this 90's like. There's only like 22 of these engines that were ever built for railroads in the United States. And Lionel went through the painstaking process of measuring every inch of that locomotive, have the custom sounds, the same whistle 90's wearing, the same chuff sounds, custom announcements. It's going to say, now arriving engine number 90 instead of, trains now arriving at the station, or the other generic Lionel sounds that they put in every steam locomotive. Although the price is a little scary, it's extremely exciting, and I personally have the 2000s version on pre-order.
That's awesome, dude. So what else does everybody have on order? Anybody else got any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I have the Strasbourg 90 on order, the 90s version instead, and I also have the wood-sided coaches on order and the observation car. So I have a full set on order. And
we didn't get to that page yet.
We will.
We will, but we get you going.
And unlike MattyC, who and many others, who the engine is very the real engine is very personal to them. If you watch my channel, you know I'm very much a modeler. I'm into the models themselves more than I am the actual trains in real life, and I'm really into the history of Lionel and all these companies. And this truly is a historic moment in the hobby. This model is something that's never been done before. It probably won't be done again for a very long time. And like RJ said, it's like a Vision Line engine, but it's obviously not part of that line. And what's even better is it's a brass hybrid. Everyone keeps complaining about, oh, it's brass, oh, it's so expensive, but the brass part is what's making it so good. All these details, all these specific details to this model. And that to me is what really made it worth it. And of course, I still love Strasbourg. Lots of us have watched Thomas the Magic Railroad, and that's kind of what got me into Strasbourg. I went there as a kid. I just recently went there when some of us met up for a little get together, and just all those things, all those things combined, just make it so worth it to me, and that's why I ordered the full set.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I have to echo what Sid said. I mean, the brass part is really what sold me on this. I did my review a couple days ago, and I was hemming and hawing, and I honestly still am hemming and hawing a little bit about what I wanted to order. I ended up going ahead and jumping in and trying to lock down a good price on it. So I did order the 2000s paint scheme because I live a stone's throw away from Strasbourg, and I see this locomotive weekly. And so I wanted it in its most modern paint scheme. So that's what I went with. The price tag is brutal. The pre-order pricing is confusing as well with everything that's kind of going on right now. I'm curious as to why they didn't make it a Vision Line model. It seems like they followed all the same protocols that they traditionally would. I don't know if it's because people would say that they're charging a surcharge just to have a black box. As opposed to saying no, like it's worth this much because it's got the brass, yada yada yada. I don't know. I just found that curious for all the work they're putting in and the price tag that's coming along with it. But I think they did a great job. It's certainly exciting, and there's a lot of other exciting things in this catalog too. This just was a really awesome way to start it off. So those are my thoughts.
Oh yeah, I don't think we've had this kind of start with a big bang in a catalog like this for a while. At least for my recent re-entry into the hobby. So yeah, I'm excited.
My quick thoughts.
Go ahead.
The engine is special to me, but for a little different reason. Most of you will remember it as the first steam engine you saw or whatnot. For me, it was seeing it through my nephew's eyes. So I ordered the 90s version as well, because that's the period of time when I would take the boys every year down there to Strasbourg. So I'm excited from that standpoint. I think Lionel's done an excellent job. Everyone's touched on that, the research, the quality they're building into this. But, I think it covers a wide span of ages and memories that are going to be relived through this model and whatnot. So that's my thoughts on it.
I love that.
That's
story.
Great.
Yeah.
Hey, the one other thing that I saw on this page too, and I know that there's been some conversations online about like the valve gearing being incorrect or something. In the bottom right hand corner, it does say that the images are based on an initial design, but the road specific detailing is going to change during production.
Yep.
So I thought that was interesting that they finally added that little asterisk in there, and it's only on. I don't think I noticed it on any other page with this one, but I thought that was interesting. So there's there's still work that's going to be done. So what we see here is not going to be exactly what you're going to get. It's going to be more specific, which is great to hear.
I also heard too that there were some people getting a little concerned about how big the whistle is on this model, because if you look at it first glance, like it is a very striking detail of the whole model. Like when you first take a glance over the whole boiler and then you see this giant thing sticking out, I did hear some people were a little concerned about that, but again, like Chris said, the fact that it's subject to change what the render looks like, and they might alter the detailing very slightly, I wouldn't get concerned about it. I said this to a lot of people. If you pre-ordered the engine and you're a little worried about it, wait till they do the demos with Dave on Lionel's YouTube channel, which they're probably going to do in a couple months when the engine's well into production. So if you're still on the fence by it, but you pre-ordered it anyway, I would wait till then. But going back to just all the research that they went into this engine, the other thing we didn't touch on yet, this engine got fully recorded by Lionel. So they went to Strasbourg and they recorded exact sounds from the engine. So we're going to get the exact bell, the exact whistle, even the chuffing is going to sound exactly like the actual thing. And again, the fact that this isn't a Vision Line engine I'm dumbfounded. I don't know how their corporate offices were saying we don't want to make this a Vision Line product. I mean, hey, for all intents and purposes, for everybody's wallets in here that pre-ordered, I mean, it could have been more just because it's Vision Line, but it's not. So I'm happy. I pre-ordered the 2000s paint scheme because that's actually how I operated the locomotive last summer. So that, again, I'm not going to go on another spiel. I already did that. I said my piece. But yeah, this is really something. And I think what Sid said earlier, how this is a historic moment in the hobby. This is going to be one of those legendary quote-unquote locomotives that Lionel releases for like years to come. Like, you think about it down the road, like, this is an engine that might be extremely, extremely hard to find because I think majority of people who have it in their collections aren't going to take it away anytime soon.
All right, I've got one last quick point on 90, and then we can move on because every catalog review has been just like 3 hours of talking about 90 and then like 2 minutes of talking about everything else.
Go ahead.
Nope, I forgot what I was going to say next because I did that. So
oh, gosh. It'll happen at the end of this review. He's like, oh, yeah, remember how I said an hour ago I wanted to talk about this?
Let me unmute Blake for a second. I had muted him just so we could talk. But Blake, just give your quick 2 cents on it, because I know you're hearing it.
Not to say something similar to what Matt said, but my reasons for buying Strasbourg 90 are similar to what Matt said, because Strasbourg was the first place I went to see steam engines up close. Except my first engine up close was 475, but I've been going to Strasbourg ever since I was a kid, and I every time I go back, it's always fun to go to. So, and I think Matt, didn't we talk about like in middle school? Oh, if we wish Lionel would make 90, wasn't that like a conversation we had?
Yeah, we said the exact. You and I had banter for a long time about this model for forever, going all our way into like our college years. How like, oh man, wouldn't it be great if they just somehow get together and just make this thing happen? Again, I think the fact that we have this large community of model railroaders that actually are passionate about getting a proper product out is really special. I mean, like I said, this is an engine that I can even see in a few years, like maybe soon. Hey, you might see this in the TCA museum in Lancaster County because that's how special this model is to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I remembered what I was going to say.
I bought the...
okay, after finish Blake.
I bought the 2000s version. Similar for 2 reasons. One, because that's when I did go to Strasbourg when I was very young, and I did see 90 in the paint scheme. But the other reason is because out of all the paint schemes Strasbourg's ever done, that is my favorite scheme that the engines were all...
You mean the 90s?
Yeah,
90s scheme, right?
90s scheme. I said 90s scheme, right?
You said 2000s.
Not 90s scheme, I meant. But see, I saw it in the 2000s in that paint scheme. But I've always loved the red windows, the the locomotive cab, the red cab roof, the red tender tank, and the gold lettering and striping on the tender. I've always loved that paint scheme, and I kind of wish they would go back to it, because it made them all the engines at the railroad like family. I know they're doing the more historical approach now, but I've always preferred the 1990s paint scheme. It was a little more colorful, because for years they had 90 in all black, and I was like, it's kind of drab and dreary, but that's just my 2 cents.
Right.
So we got that, and I already own 4 MTH passenger cars, the current painted up one, so I'm just going to order 2 more, and I'll have a 6-car train.
Well, to make
Awesome.
sure we stay concise as well, I want to let RJ say his thing before he forgets it again, and then
Yes.
let's move on to the next part because we're not fully done with the Strasbourg section, so we got other parts of the catalog to get to as well.
All right. So I think the reason why it's not like a Vision Line model is just because Lionel tries to fit like 5 different steam features in each Vision Line steam locomotive, and like they can't fit a blowdown steam effect in the cylinders or like a pop-up valve steam effect in 90, and because it's just missing like one or two features short of being a Vision Line. I think at one time on the drawing board it was Vision Line Strasbourg 90, but in practicality, and they've gotten all the dimensions of the model, it's just not going to be able to fit everything, and we've got this brass hybrid Vision Line price 90. All right, I'm done now.
Well, I'm glad we're all excited about it. So before we move on really quickly, I just want to introduce Tim down in the bottom corner there. Tim is a good friend of mine and a local guy to me. Tim, you want to say hi to the crowd and say what you're known for?
Hello. I'm kind of known for, in this group, being one of the more prototypical nuts like DJ. You know, we strive for prototypical accuracy as best as we can. You know, these are models. These aren't toys. These are models, people. So you want them to be as close as possible to correctness. And also, I'm kind of the expert. You know, everybody will come to me. Mostly everybody will come to me and ask me questions like, okay, Tim, what do you know about this? You want long answer, short answer, you can decide and let me know. But yeah, so that's kind of a little about me.
Well, thank you, Tim, for joining us. And yeah, Tim is a little bit of our historical information guru here, so it's a pleasure to have you on, man. So we're going to move on to the next page of the catalog. And like I said, let's be brief about this. We have the Wood Coach 2-packs, and these are to go with 90. These are some beautiful cars, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I believe this is also some old MTH tooling that's being released under the Lionel banner now, but beautiful cars. Once again, as a humble Midwesterner, I'm gonna back away from this and say that this is not for my wallet. But let's quickly give our 2 cents on these cars, and then before we start, like I did before, show of hands who's going poor because of these cars. The entire middle row. All right, so let's the guys who ordered them. Well, why are you guys getting them?
I like Blake and RJ and a few others. I already have a couple of the old MTH tooling, and that's honestly the only real thing that is a point of interest on this page is the fact that Lionel did get some of MTH's more desirable tooling. These are for the people out there who've never owned these wood-sided cars, and if this is your first time getting them, these are probably some of the best passenger cars you can get out there. They are phenomenal. They're extremely detailed. They look absolutely great. My only concern I have is I hope Lionel doesn't say that they want to do a different type of paint, because if they don't match my existing MTH ones, I'm going to be very cranky. But other than that, these are great cars. I'm very happy that they're offering them, and they're offering a new paint scheme. They're offering for those who ordered the 1990s Strasbourg paint scheme, you're going to get a matching set of the 1990s style cars, and then for the 2000s guys or just the modern guys, you have the current paint scheme. And I'm really happy they're offering the Philadelphia and Reading observation car there. That's a really cool car on the Strasbourg Railroad. I've personally never ridden in it because the ticket's really expensive, but it's a really nice car, and it's going to be an awesome looking set.
Awesome. Who else wants to chime in on this one?
Yeah, I have the MTH cars, so I decided not to order any of the passenger cars, the wood-sided ones from this catalog. I was afraid that they weren't going to match. So I already have 4 anyway. So I did go ahead, and I'm planning to pre-order the Philadelphia and Reading observation car just to make that train a little bit longer. And like I said, it's an awesome car to see in person. It's going to be an awesome model. So that's what I went with.
Awesome.
I'd like to join in here.
Mhm.
Now, I ordered the 90s engine, and thanks to MattyC, he found me the cars just prior to the release of this catalog. So I 4-pack of those from MTH. What I went and ordered was the current version, 2000 version from Lionel. So I figure I can run that with the engine or with some other engines that I have. So I'm really interested in expanding my fleet there, and I think I'm really going to enjoy them on the layout.
That's awesome. Can't wait. Who else?
I'll let I saw Blake wanted to go,
Yeah.
so I'll let him go.
I think I said earlier, I already own a couple of these cars already from MTH. What I don't own is I don't own a combine car, so I might as well order. I ordered the current painted up cars with the combine and the other coach, just so I have 6 cars. And I'm going to be the guinea pig. I want to see if they match with my MTH ones. But I thought about buying the 1990s versions, but I said, it's going to look a little weird with them not all matching. I might order the Strasbourg Paradise, the Philadelphia and Reading car, but the yellow painted one. I might order that. I'm not too sure. I'll have to see what's in the budget. So that's all I have to say, really.
Oh, that's gonna look awesome then. RJ.
And I guess I'm
And then
I'm the
DJ.
last one, so I'll be extremely brief. But Lionel made the decision really easy for me because they put out 3 2-packs, and I already have one of the cars from 2 of the 2-packs, so there was only 1 2-pack left that I could feasibly buy. So I've got 1 2-pack on order, saying a couple Hail Marys that the paint colors match, and still iffy on the observation car, the Philadelphia and Reading observation car. As we'll go over in later, I'm deeply invested in this catalog. So, I mean, it's just another $150, but we'll see if I pick that one up too.
Awesome. DJ, you got anything you want to add in?
I have a question, actually.
Sure.
The Paradise observation car, that's a really sharp-looking car, yet nobody's mentioned it. So what's the background on it? I'm just curious.
Sid, you want to do it?
Oh, no, I was going to just say I ordered that car, but Matt, you go, and then I'll say my stuff.
That is the same car. So the Paradise car is basically the Philadelphia and Reading car that they had back in the day. The Paradise car is what they originally had on the railroad for X amount of years. They originally had it as an executive's car. So all the higher-ups who purchased the Strasbourg Railroad way back when, that car was actually used when the railroad first opened, when they were starting to do actual tourist rides. So the executives would have their own private car that only they could run in. And then after a while, they repainted it back up to its correct paint scheme, which is the Philadelphia and Reading. And it's probably the most premier car on the entire Strasbourg consist, next to the Marion car or some of the more obscure cars on the railroad, such as the Boston and Maine passenger cars, which are basically the parlor cars. I forget why they call it the president's car per se. Maybe RJ would know besides me, but I do know that is the brief history of that car.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
So, 2 quick points. Presidents meaning as in the presidents of the railroad. And second, I have a picture of that car running on Long Island. They did an excursion with it from Montauk to Strasbourg. I'll send you a picture of that, DJ.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Awesome.
So that's really cool. DJ will want it then.
Well, he could, because it was pulled by a C420.
Exactly.
Oh,
There
right.
you go.
I got one or 2 of those.
What's interesting, really quick, what's interesting about that is they had it as a special charter way back when, and they went from Lancaster County, they took that car from Strasbourg, they took it up to Harrisburg, went up what is now the Northeast Corridor, and they would bring it to Penn Station, and then it got transferred to the Long Island Railroad, and they took that car with a C420 all the way out to Montauk and back.
Nice. That's really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I
So
might
my-
order it now.
So quickly, I had said before I'm purchasing the '90s number 90. So I also got the '90s coaches. I originally just got the first 2 packs, and then I'm going to add. But now I'm going to add the combine on. Then I'm getting the Paradise car because I just want a full train with the Strasbourg 90. Because why not? If I'm gonna get 90, I might as well go big or go home.
Exactly. Go for it, dude. All right. I am going to move us on to the next engine, and then hopefully we can start rolling a little bit quicker through these. So is going to be the 280 Consolidations. Now I hope a lot of us have something to say on these engines. They're really cool, tiny little engines, and for the price, they're not half bad. We have a couple road names offered here, which you will see on screen if I remember to edit this video correctly. And there's a lot of cool schemes and a lot of cool features. So very beginner friendly. If you have a small layout, they say they can do 031. And if this is your first time in getting into the hobby, you want to get command and control, hey, this is a great way to start. So I'm loving these engines. Probably not going to get any on the ones on this page specifically, though there are a bunch of awesome road names. So, once again, open it up to the floor.
All right, I'm one of the idiots who spent money on this. So I didn't get one of the ones that were in the catalog. Legacy Station, which is it's a store down in Georgia. If you haven't heard of it, there's this YouTube guy who also shops there a lot. They are doing a custom run of Southern 630, which is a 280 consolidation that's at a museum in Chattanooga, the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum. And I actually got to ride behind her a month ago. So, fun times. The tooling's not accurate to actual Southern 630. And that was an issue the last time Lionel made it in 2015. But I still wanted one in my collection, so I went ahead and ordered it. Really good price, too.
That's awesome. And for anybody who thought they were safe, if they didn't get Strasbourg stuff, if you're a 630 fan, well, you can thank RJ for taking your money.
I think this is great that they're releasing. It seems now that we got a trend in the catalogs. It seems like every catalog they're releasing like an affordable small steam locomotive with actual really nice features. This is going to probably be another popular engine, similar to how they released the Camelbacks in the previous catalog and how they released the 10-wheelers not too long ago. This is awesome. I love all the paint schemes. I think honestly, I love how you're getting the price point is great, and you're going to get whistle steam in it. You're going to get all the new current legacy features. Some of the paint schemes are great. I really like the Santa Fe one there, the 2535 with the silver front. That's just really classic looking. It's very Santa Fe, definitely. The main central one is really eye-catching with the red cab windows and the gold and red trim. Just really, really sharp.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Anybody else want to chime in on this one? We got Blake.
Yeah, sure. Oh.
And then Blake, and then we'll go DJ.
Okay.
I like the. I'm not going to order one of these, at least not the one on this page, but I do like that Buffalo Creek and what is that? Buffalo Creek and I can't read it. What does that say?
Buffalo Creek and Golly.
There we go.
Yeah,
Golly, Golly.
I like that one.
That is really
That
cool.
one's nice.
It's a railroad they haven't featured before, I don't think.
Yeah, that's probably why. And knowing me, if they ever release a model with the headlight on the smoke box, I'd probably just buy that one just because it has that. But yeah, these engines are nice, and I like more of these affordable engines having all the whistle steam and all that. I like how it's being transferred into the more affordable line.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I have to say.
All right, gotcha. DJ.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I mean, I love these small steam engines too, where they could put legacy and whistle steam in them. And, I have one of the new 10-wheelers that came out and Camelback on order. And I didn't go in for one of these. I probably won't. But I do like them. If I did go for one, it would be either the New York Central or the Buffalo Creek and Golly. I've never heard of that railroad before, but that paint scheme is just so cool. And but one thing I am surprised is that this is a Union Pacific / Southern Pacific design, and we don't have a Union Pacific / Southern Pacific to choose from. So
Right.
maybe one of the dealers will do like an uncatalogued run. I would consider a Southern Pacific if it was offered. So I found that to be kind of strange. And the New York Central one is close, but not 100% accurate to New York Central. So, but other than that, yeah, it's a great little steamer.
Oh yeah. If it was SP or UP, I'd be doomed. So I guess for my wallet's sake, I'm
Yeah.
happy that they're not there.
Yeah.
Tim, did you want to say something?
So, if it's okay with you guys, I'm just going to explain a little bit about the Buffalo Creek and Gully so everybody knows.
Sure.
So,
I was going to ask about that because
I need to know.
So the Buffalo Creek and Gully was a short coal hauling railroad out in West Virginia. There's a guy on the OGR forum. His forum handle is Hot Water. He is well known in the steam community for firing a couple of the big old steam locomotives out there, like the Daylight, and was part of the UP Steam program back in the 90s and 2000s. When Hot Water, or Jack Wheelahan, got started in steam, his first real firing experience was firing a couple of the big old 280s on the Buffalo Creek and Gully. And so he traveled, the line's like about maybe 15, 20 miles long. I forget where it started, and it traveled to a coal mine up in a town called Wyden. And these big 280s, I mean, these are some heavy 280s. They would haul 50 to 60 empty coal cars up grade. And that's where Jack Wheelhand learned how to fire. And yeah, it's a very small little short line coal hauling railroad.
now wasn't that locomotive in particular like the last steam locomotive that was used in revenue service? It was like retired in 1965 or something like that. Or I'm just imagining things.
I was reading on that post on the OGR forum. Honestly, I would have to look at it again to confirm, but I think Jackson was either number 4 or was something else. But nonetheless, yes, I believe that is correct. But people, if if you know otherwise, please don't hurt me if I got it that wrong.
We won't crucify Tim if he gets a fact or two wrong here and there. Steve or Chris or Sid, do you guys want to chime in, say anything?
I'll quickly say one thing. The reason, this is more on the model itself, the reason why these smaller steam engines that they've made the past couple of years have been so inexpensive and yet, well, relatively speaking, and still have all these features is the 10-wheeler and the Camelback in this engine, they've had these tooling since the early 2000s, so they haven't had to change anything. They just put the new electronics in, and voila, you got a legacy steam engine with all the amazing features you want. But the detailing is not really lacking, but it's simplified because it's an older tooling, and that's what allows for them to be so cheap. Like the Camelbacks hadn't been done forever, and it's just because they were the old tooling. And same thing with these. They've had these for a while. However, I believe the original run of these were not this style. They were the Union Pacific and Southern Pacific style. However, that's just why they're so inexpensive, which I've noticed is probably the biggest thing with these is how good of a deal they are.
Oh yeah. Any final remarks? No? Going once, going twice. Next page. All right, so next one is we're going from small steam to some huge steam locomotives here. I know we have a couple people in this chat who would love to see these. These are the return of the AC-12 cab forwards, and as a big SP guy, I'm really excited about these. We got a couple paint schemes here. We have a couple fantasy ones to start off with, the Lark and the Daylight. We've got a couple road names for the normal historical SP AC12. We've got a black tender one, which I think DJ might have a thing or two to say about those. So I'm gonna ask him to start off with this one, and then we have the gray boiler version, which I believe is a fantasy as well. So excited about these. My layout, unfortunately, is a little bit too small for these engines, so again, have to humbly bow out. But these are some awesome engines. So DJ, you got any comments on this engine?
Sure. Yeah, I'm excited for these to come back into the catalog. I've been waiting a little while. I love the cab forwards. It's just such a unique design. I like Southern Pacific. I've got a little bit in my collection. I've got a Golden Gate Depot Daylight set with a matching engine. But I'm excited to get these. And yeah, my two favorite schemes here is the black tender version. That's the later version from like the 50s until retirement, like later 50s. And then you have the gray boiler version there. Now, that is not prototypical for an AC12, but it was on some of the earlier pre-war cab forwards, like the AC4. So it is a prototypical paint scheme, but not for an AC12. So, but I think it's cool that they're doing it. And, straight up, I just hope Lionel gets the gray right, and we don't end up with like a mint green seaboard color on it. But other than that, I think it's awesome. And I'm definitely going to get a black tender version and weather it up. That'll be a lot of fun. And I would love to get the pre-war version too, the gray boiler, but I don't know if I could swing two of these. But really great stuff. It's nice to see the museum one in the catalog, and then just a regular in-service cab number with the Southern Pacific lettering on the tender. And then, of course, the two fantasy schemes you just mentioned. So, yeah, really cool stuff. Excited for it.
Yeah, awesome. Glad to hear that. And I'm going to direct the conversation to the other fellow SP fan I know is here. Tim, what do you think, dude?
I agree with DJ. I'm really happy that the scale cap forwards are back out from Lionel. Yeah, when they first did the Legacy cap forward back, 2013, 2014, when I saw that that's a really cool looking engine, and especially that they did more than one cab number. And this, when they did the Legacies, they did 4294, 4286, the Daylight, and one other cab number, I believe. So they did 4 cab numbers to choose from. Oh, and the Pilot. I think the Pilot is the 4th one. Anyway, the last catalog, when I saw that they were doing them in Line Master, I go, at first when I saw it, I go, is that the scale cab forward? I'm like, no, it's Line Master. And I'm like, forget about the Line Master. I want my scale cab forward now. So if I have 2 that I narrowed down, I'm gonna either get the 4278, which is the black tender, like the one DJ is gonna get, or I'm gonna get the 4281, which is this. It's like 4294, but it's different road number because everybody. One of the things I do is I don't like getting the same road number engine that somebody else does in a club. Give me something different. So I'm probably gonna get 4278, and it'll look great with my about 25 car PFE reefer train.
That's awesome, dude. I can't wait to see it. Hopefully I can see you run it in person then. Anybody else want to chime in on this one? Chris, did you want to say something, or we can? I'll pass it on to Steve. All right.
Steve, go.
Okay. I was happy to see him again, and if I hadn't spent so much money on some other items in the catalog, I might have considered buying another. I mean, I already have the earlier one on the layout, and I just love that engine. It's a beautiful performer, and it pulls a lot. So who knows? If there's something available, maybe down the year a little further when they actually hit the shelves, I might wind up buying one. So
good to hear.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
I was excited when I saw these in the catalog. At the same time, I was also heartbroken that I saw these in the catalog because of other things that are in this catalog. So I had a cab forward a couple years ago and sold it to free up some funds for ordering some other engines at the time. And I regret that decision. So I'd love to have one of these back. But I just don't think I'm swinging it this go around. So I have to wait a few years.
You East Coasters got hit hard, so I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to chime in?
Wait till we get to the diesels. I'm talking about RJ and DJ. We'll get to that later. But I'm happy about these. I mean, I'm a SP guy myself, even though I'm an East Coaster. I always have appreciated and loved the overall history and the look and appearance of these cab forwards. They look great. I'm with you guys. I think probably the best and most interesting looking one is probably the Black Tender with the darkened side rods. DJ, you're going to kill it making this thing look really good when it's all weathered up. I mean, this thing's just made to get weathered. This is a beautiful engine. I don't know if these actually have dual speakers. I don't know if there's one in the boiler, but if I'm sure they're going to be really awesome sounding engines. The fantasy schemes are what they are. I mean, they're controversial to some people in the hobby, I'm sure. I actually kind of like the Southern Pacific daylight scheme on this thing. I know it can make some people cringe, but I actually kind of like it. It's different. It's unique. But yeah, I'm very happy they're bringing these back. I'm sure a lot of people are very happy because, man, 2014, I just graduated high school when those came out the first time. So very, very nice that they're back.
It's
I
been
agree. The
ages.
daylight scheme is an eye catcher, and I occasionally run mine pulling the daylight passenger cars. I know that is not prototypical, but it just seemed like the perfect to me on my layout. So that's my 2 cents on it.
I'm just upset we didn't get one in the Santa Fe SP merger colors with a SPSF in yellow and red right on the boiler and tender.
Don't give them ideas. Bad.
I think
That's what I was hoping for. I would have ordered one. Lionel, I would have ordered one if you made that paint scheme. So just in case, for next time.
And Lionel, if you made Long Island Dashing Dan cab forwards, I would order that too.
Oh my God, this is good. Before we leave them too many ideas.
I would actually do that though.
Sign
I would
me
actually
way up.
do that.
Sign me way up. I'm for it.
Blake, did you want to add your 2 cents, dude?
I kind of like the Southern Pacific, not gonna lie. If I had the money and mostly the money, to be honest with you. I like the gray boiler, or was that supposed to be Russia Iron, the one on the bottom with the red roof?
It's supposed to be gray, like DJ said. Those were used on the AC4 cap forwards. Some of them are painted with gray boilers, but mainly.
I kind of like that. I kind of like that one, and if not that one, I like the one on the top, below the daylight one. That one's pretty cool too. But yeah, I got no money. So that's all I have to say. I'm glad they're back in the catalog, though. It's nice to see engines from a couple years ago return to the catalog with some updated features. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, those are awesome, and I'm glad we all have a level of fondness, whether we want them in accurate paint schemes or some mythical ones. And speaking of fantasy paint schemes, we're going to move on to the next engine, which has a butt ton of them. We're going to move to the 9000 Union Pacific 9000 series, or the 412-2s. Now, these are some massive engines. We haven't seen these for a while, so I know there's a lot of folks who are very excited for this. We have, I believe, a couple of prototypical paint schemes on the first 2 pages, and then the next 2 pages, which I will also feature during the video if I learn how to edit correctly, is a bunch of fantasy ones. So really beautiful engines. I first heard about these when I was a kid, and I was watching UP's original promotional video on the big boys, and how they were describing how they wanted to make bigger engines, but they got too stiff-necked, and they used the 9000s as an example. But again, my layout's a little bit too small for these engines, so I'm going to bow out once again. But I do like the prototypical ones, and I'm going to step into a little bit of dangerous territory and say I do actually like a couple of these fantasy paint schemes. Sid's gonna crucify me for this. Tim's already for-shaming me already. Sid's gonna crucify me for this, but I actually don't mind the Chesapeake and Ohio one, and I'm getting shamed for everybody from this one. But this one I actually like. I actually do like the SPNS. As a big 44-49 fan, I also a SPNS 700 fan. Sid's just crying already. He's weeping. I'm going to be shot after this video's over, but I actually do like how that logo looks on the Vanderbilt tender, the Milwaukee Road paint scheme. As a S3 owner, it looks really strange to me, but you know what? To each their own. So before I get crucified even more, I want to open this up to general forum. So anybody who wants to say your bit or belittle me or say how I'm wrong, go for it.
So, all right. So, yeah, Johnny, I actually was thinking about the CNO one. I'm not gonna get it, but all they have to do, if seriously, Lionel, please, for the love of God, you're close. All you have to do is take out 2 sets of drivers, and you've got a CNO mountain right there. Come on now, you can do this, Lionel. But yeah, I am definitely interested in this locomotive. If you ask me between the Lionel or the MTH, which one would I go for? Definitely the MTH one.
Mm-hmm.
More detailed than the Lionel one. Again, that's just me. I like the fact that this has 5 different whistles to choose from. I'm kind of curious what they're going to be. I have a slight hunch that the current big boy whistle's going to be thrown in here. So, apparently these engines had that type of whistle on it, from what I heard. You never know.
Well, they'll put a hooter, a banshee, and the werewolf whistle in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. So, out of the 5 UP jobs on pages 16 and 17 to strike me, first one is UP 9023, and then the second one is Oregon Shortline 9514, which is UP 9077. The Oregon Shortline was kind of like a subsidiary to the UP. They had the UP leased a couple of the 412-2s to them. So those are the 2 that I'm thinking about. Which one I'll get, I don't know. And you won't know until I tell you guys.
I was gonna say, go for it.
Sorry. I'm just glad they brought these back. Like we said with the cab forwards, it's nice to see Lionel bringing back some classics, some classic scale locomotives back in the catalog. I mean, it's always nice when you get a second chance to buy an engine that maybe a couple years ago when it originally came out, you're like, I don't know, I don't have the money for it, or this or that, and now time moves on, and then you get another go at it. So it's great for those individuals out there who really want these engines, because they're to me, this is the coolest. Forget the big boy. I think this is one of their coolest designs that Union Pacific ever produced. This is just such a unique, different locomotive. I love just the running gear on this thing. It's just so different than some of the other steam engines that are out there. If I had to choose paint scheme wise, I actually really like the Greyhound. I think you can't go wrong with Greyhound on a lot of UP engines. I might get crucified for this one, but I genuinely like the Denver and Rio Grande paint scheme on there. I like that green boiler. It's just so unique and different, but I know it's completely wrong, but something about just having that little shade of green on a black steam engine, it always looks cool.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So let's hit Chris. We'll go to DJ, and then we can do Blake, and then Sid, and then see if you want to jump in at the end. We can do that.
So this was another one that I was heartbroken that I saw was in this catalog because of everything else that was in this catalog. Trying to acquire number 9000 is on my bucket list of trains I would love to add to the roster in my collection. But with looking at purchasing the Strasbourg model, that just kind of pushes me beyond where my budget's at to also acquire this one. So, I've got a couple weeks here to try to figure out what to do, if I want to jump in and pre-order this one and list some things for sale, or just say, hey, it wasn't meant to be this time around. We'll wait it out and maybe grab one off the shelf down the road. But very unique. I think the 3 chuff sound would be awesome to have, but I think the price is actually pretty reasonable, and I mean, it's $16.99. It's obviously really expensive, but the pre-order prices on these, I think Charles Rowe had these down in the $1,300 range, which I thought was pretty reasonable for an engine of this size and as unique as it is. So that's where I'm at with it. Just wish they would maybe have added this to the next catalog.
Gotcha. DJ, what's your 2 cents, dude?
I love them. I have one of the first run legacy models, Union Pacific one. I wanted something Union Pacific for the collection that was not big boy, and one of these came up pretty reasonably. I guess about a year ago. So I still haven't filmed it for the channel, still haven't weathered it, but great engine, great sounds. I love how it has that third piston, inside of it that rotates around. I think that's really cool looking. And then the 6 chuffs per revolution. If I was to choose one of these, it would actually be the Southern Pacific Line's Fantasy. They had 410-2s, and so I think that is about the closest that you'll get to a Southern Pacific 410-2 in O scale, other than trying to track down the Sunset Models 410-2 that was made God knows when. I think that's the best shot at getting something Southern Pacific, that's kind of like this. And, I like the green boiler, similar to the Rio Grande model. I really like that green boiler. I like the white walls and the red cab roof. So I think that's really, really sharp. And I'm not going in for one of these, but if I was, that would be my choice. So really cool to see these in the catalog.
Gotcha. And I believe I said, Blake, you're up next, dude.
I'll be honest with you, if number 90 was not in the catalog, I probably would be pre-ordering one of these. I don't mind fantasy schemes, to be honest with you. I think it just, model railroad could be whatever you want it to be. But if I had to choose, it'd probably be either one of the Union Pacific ones, one of the normal black ones, or I really like the Southern Pacific one, as DJ said, with the green boiler and the red cab roof. I have a thing for engines that have a little bit of color in them, so. But I've always loved the look of these engines. So, if it wasn't for 90, it probably would have been one of these.
A lot of hard decisions people had to put through, that are putting themselves through. So, all right. So, Sid, what do you got, the dude?
I've never really wanted one of these. It's just never been an engine that I just desperately wanted. Kind of like Tim, if I were to get one, it would probably be an MTH one. They're just a little better detail-wise, and I've just seen more of them in person. I do like the Lionel model. I remember watching some reviews on them in the past when they came out, and then seeing the TMCC model. I feel this is an engine that probably should only be in UP colors. The Acela fantasy schemes made me laugh. These fantasy schemes make me hurt inside. C&O doesn't fit on there. I'm a S3 owner, and seeing that an S3 Milwaukee Road paint scheme on a 412-2 is a little weird to me, and I find it's just weird looking. And just all of them, it just doesn't fit for me. But I can see in some ways how people would like the others, as Tim and DJ have explained, that there were some engines that were very similar, not the same, but very similar, that they could fit. And I'm not ordering one of these because, like many others, 90 has ran my wallet dry.
Steve, did you want to say anything, or?
Sure. I'm glad to see them producing them again. I would, if I was ordering, it would be in the UP. But right now, I've traded away a lot of the UP. Down to just, I think, one piece left on the layout in UP. I don't know. I go through changes, but it's an interesting engine. And like I said, I think it's going to do well. So hopefully there'll be some out on the market secondhand.
Oh yeah. All right, and unless anybody else wants to throw in their final comments, going once, going twice, let's move on to the next section, which is the legacy diesels. Now, I'm not the biggest diesel guy here, but there are a couple of interesting items here. And first, we're starting off with the Sd70 Max. A lot of awesome paint schemes, a lot of Bnsf, some NS, some P and L, I believe, a CSX, and Conrail. So I also see the iconic, as our good friend Ravenhawk has dubbed it, the Vomit Bonnet. So hi Sterling, how are you doing, man? I hope you are not cussing at the catalog too hard, because I know that I was like, oh no, he's screwed when I saw this revealed for the first time. But yeah, again, not the biggest diesel dude in the world, so they don't really hit me as hard. But if you guys have anything you want to say, go for it.
So I'll go real quick. I don't think any of us ordered the Sd70 Max, so it's kind of a mute point for us here in this group. It might not be for you guys watching, so sorry if we don't talk about it all that much in depth. But I think it's interesting that instead of doing non-powered diesels now, they're doing the super base non-powered units. So the Sd70 Max and the SD45s that are on the next page, they're doing super base units instead of non-powered units. I think it's cool. I don't have a super base unit, so I can't speak to, what they sound like. But they're $100 less than a regular powered unit. So I don't know if that's worth that personally. I was hoping for Alaska Sd70 Max. I guess thankfully it didn't come in this catalog. But yeah, it should be interesting to see what those new super base A units sound like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a few with the super base, and it really does add that extra level there. And as Lionel was explaining, by removing the motors, it gave them the room necessary to get the larger speaker in to achieve that super bass. So I think it was a trade-off, and it's a nice offering. And I think sales will determine whether we go forward with more products in that. But as everyone knows, I'm more into the older style, so I'll buy diesels, but older. And I love my steam, so that's my 2 cents on it.
I feel you there. DJ, what did you want to say, dude?
I really like that they're offering the super base units. If I was to choose one, it would be Conrail. I like Conrail, and I've been considering pre-ordering from Sunset Models their Conrail SD40-2s. So I thought it would be really cool if I did pre-order those two, then add a super base unit, one of these SD70s. You can't lash up the Sunset Models diesels with a legacy diesel. Just the design is totally different. They won't lash up properly. So, the next best thing would be one of these super base units. Would add a lot more sound to the Sunset Models units, and it would really bring everything to life more. So the super base units without the motors, it's actually a really good idea, and I'm happy to see Lionel do that. I think it's nice to do that in something other than a B unit. So really cool. Kudos to Lionel for trying this out.
Oh yeah. Tim, did you want to say something, dude?
Yeah, RJ, if they were to do Alaska, we know of one person who wouldn't like them because they wouldn't be right somehow, way, shape, and form. All I'm gonna say about that. But yeah,
They wouldn't have rotating. They wouldn't have rotating.
Bearing caps.
Rotating
they wouldn't have rotating
would
bearing
not have
caps.
those. But I agree. I like the fact that they're bringing back the super base units and actually them producing them the way how they produced the AC6000s back in 2007, 2008, where they were basically a boxcar on wheels, because literally that's what a non-powered engine is, with a big speaker, and that's the way how the super bass units are supposed to be. And why, Lionel, you stopped doing that, I'll never know. And don't want to know.
The less we know, the better, I suppose, in that scenario. Anybody else want to chime in? Raise your hand, by the way, if, make sure I don't miss you. Oh, DJ, go for it, dude.
Question. Puda, Chuck, and Louisville. Never heard of that. Anybody know about that railroad?
Paducah and Louisville, I believe, is a short line railroad. Never heard of them either until now.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. It's something I'll be looking up at some point. Yeah, it's a sharp paint scheme. All right.
I'm noticing that in this catalog, a lot of the we're noticing it now. We saw it with the steam locomotives, and now we're seeing it with some diesels. They're starting to release a lot of short line, unheard of. Well, maybe to some locals who get these catalogs. I think that's great that they're opening up to other markets that are not necessarily like very well known. Like, if they had a New York and Atlantic diesel in here, I would have been all for it, too, because that doesn't get modeled out that much, either, outside of maybe one or two offerings from MTH when they were still producing trains. But very cool that they're offering that. That's, like, my main pinpoint from this page.
The one
I think
comment
the reason why... I just want to follow up Matt real quick. Sorry to cut you off, Steve.
no,
I think that the reason that they're doing these short lines is because they're fantasy schemes, but not actually. Like, in the idea where they're like these really nice, weird paint schemes that we typically associate with fantasy paint schemes because we don't, we've never seen a Louisville and whatever railroad before, but we've all seen a Conrail Sd70 Max before. So it's just another way for Lionel to do a different paint scheme while it not being like a fantasy paint scheme. All right, I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
no problem. What I was going to say, the big key here is the build to order, and that'll determine how many they build or if they build it. So I think they're offering a lot of suggestions, and they'll see what the market bears. If people place the order, they'll be happy to introduce more of these. So.
Oh yeah. Any final remarks anybody want to add in? Again, raise your hands. Make it out. I don't miss you. Going once. Oh, did you want to go, Blake? Go for it.
Ordering any, I didn't plan on ordering any of these, but I'm gonna agree with whoever talked about the super base units. I own a Lionel New York Ontario Western F unit set with a super base B unit, and it adds more life to the model tremendously. So I feel it's better than just an unpowered unit because, like, I don't know who said it. Boxcar on wheels, was that Tim that said it? Or yeah, it's literally you give the dummy unit a little more value. But I do like that. What was that? Pawtucket and Louisville. Is that what that is? The green and white one, whatever that one. I like that one down there. I have a thing for weird colors and road names, so that's probably if I wanted to pre-order, I'd do that one.
Gotcha. And I think that is everyone. So I'm going to move the conversation along here. We're going to go to the next diesel. Man, for a bunch of Steam guys, we say a lot about diesels, don't we? So we're going to move on to the next one, which is the SD45s. And I think these things are cool. We've got a couple of road names here. You got BNS, got Springfield Terminal, Milwaukee Road, Demonstrator Paint Scheme, and Pensy as well. I've said this in other places when talking about the catalog, but these engines are beautiful, and something that I really like are the high hood versions. I originally, it's kind of like being a child, like being a kid. There's some things you don't like you don't like carrots or something like that, and the older you get, you develop a taste for it. Well, this is one of my cases. I like the high hoods. They remind me of early diesel engines, so I definitely. If I had the money, I would consider getting one. I don't. I am a poor Domino's delivery driver, so pizza money won't get me very far in that. But, yeah, these are awesome engines, and while I'm not a diesel guy, I think these are cool. So, open it up to the floor again.
I as somebody who's mostly a steam era guy, because, you know me, like, I model, like, the late 1920s, 30s. These are way, like, what the hell are these doing here kind of thing if I put these on my way out. But I do like some modern diesel. Like, if I'm mostly a fan of anything from 1959 all the way up to like probably 1970, give or take. And I do like some of these newer schemes. I'm definitely a fan of the Burlington Northern. I absolutely adore that black, green, and the green and white zebra striping on the front. I think that's one of my all-time favorite, like, modern era paint schemes. And I gotta go. If I had to pick, I really like the BN, but I also really like the high nose NS engine. That's just really sharp. I always been a fan of high nose diesels. I just think that they're so unique and different to what you would typically see on the rails. These are great models, definitely.
RJ, go for it, dude.
So I actually already have an SD45. This is a MTH Rail King engine, and Protosound 3. It was the first command control engine I ever bought with my own money. Really cool. I absolutely love the Norfolk Southern High Hood edition that Lionel's doing in this catalog. I've got the low nose edition, which runs up in the Port of New York. But if I was made of money, I would have ordered a high hood version because I love high hoods. I would have loved it if Lionel did a Southern version. I don't know if the Southern ever had SD45s. I'm assuming they did because the Norfolk Southern had them, but they might have been NNW cars, NNW locomotives. Anyways, if they did it in the Southern black and gold, I would have ordered it in a heartbeat. But I'm just gonna have to sit this one out and enjoy my my one SD45 for now.
Gotcha. Sid, go ahead, dude.
So I also like the BN version. It's not the same engine, I believe, but a certain someone on YouTube years ago reviewed a BN, I believe, SD50 and a Lionel crane car. And ever since that video came out, I really enjoyed the BN paint scheme because it's just so vibrant and it's just different from anything else.
Oh yeah. Tim, go for it, dude.
So yeah, I agree with Sid. I like and whoever else said about the BN. I like that one too. I think it would make a great addition to anybody who purchased the Hustle Muscle set, which we'll see about a half a dozen pages down the road in the catalog. I think it'll make a great addition. For me, if I were to get any of these, which I won't be, unfortunately, but that is okay, because, you know, the road name that I would be interested in is not listed. But if I were to get any of these, I would probably go with the Milwaukee Road units. A buddy of mine in the local TCA Midwest Division that I'm a part of, we have a modular layout, and one of the guys has a set of MTH Milwaukee Road SD45s, and let's just say they don't run because we don't get DCS to work all the time on our modular layouts, so I kind of want to get these and just go, well, here you go. You want SD45s that'll run? Here you go. But I'm not that cruel. But yeah, all of the 6 paint schemes, I would probably go with either the BN or the Milwaukee. Just depends if I were to, but like I said, I won't be.
Gotcha. All right. Anybody else? DJ. Ooh, there we go.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button. I really like these. So if I was to order, and I'm not going to be, but I would actually order the Guilford Springfield Terminal.
That's a sharp one.
Yeah. I used to see these engines upstate New York. So they weren't SD45s. There were some 4-axle diesel. But I really like this paint scheme on the SD45. It's really cool. And if I was going to go in for these, it would be the Springfield Terminal. The Pensie's really sharp as well. So they did do not Norfolk Southern. They did do Southern high hoods in the previous run of the SD45s. They were already made. So, and I've seen them come up on eBay from time to time. So, nice looking engine. And one paint scheme I'm surprised to not see is Northern Pacific. Northern Pacific had these as well, so maybe next time. But cool stuff, and the Springfield Terminal would be my first choice.
Gotcha. All right. Anybody else? Tim.
The other paint scheme that I'm surprised that is not in there are the Southern Pacific. especially with them set up as SDP 45s, which were basically passenger versions of the SD 45, which the Southern Pacific had like about a dozen of them for passenger service. But obviously, we won't see those for a while. I hope Lionel does them down the road.
And one other
yeah.
paint scheme I was surprised that they didn't do was, even though they did it in the last run, but it's a locomotive that I've personally been wanting, is NW 1776. I believe that's an SD45 high hood in the Bicentennial colors. That's a cool looking locomotive.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Anybody else that wants to chime in on these engines? No? All right, let's move on. So we are going to the next page, and for those of you who saw the big steam and you're a diesel fan and you feel a little left out, well, don't worry, Lionel's got a way to take your money too. We got the DD35s, so these are UP engines, and you have a plethora of Union Pacific paint schemes to choose from. These things are massive. Yet they will go around a minimum curve of 042 and 054, so proceed at your own risk, I suppose. As I've described on another place, do you want to talk about the podcast? Seeing one of these giant engines go through a tiny little curve is going to be like watching your uncle and your father try to move a couch down a very tight stairway, so have fun with that. But we have 4 Union Pacific road numbers here and different paint scheme, and for those of you who like your fantasy, we have an Alaska one and a Santa Fe one, so I got blue and yellow representing here. I would like to avoid the couch situation on my layout, so I will be humbly bowing out of these engines as well. So once again, I'll open up to the floor and let you guys discuss the engine.
You should buy something, Johnny.
I should buy something. Oh, just you wait.
You keep humbly bowing out of all these locomotives.
Oh, I got one. Yeah. Trust me. It's just I'd like to pretend like I have money to spend, but I'm saving.
Come on, join the poor club like the rest of us.
Join the wallet witness protection. So, what do you guys think of this engine?
It's different, definitely. Probably a famous silhouette to a lot of model railroaders or just railroaders in general. I don't believe the minimum curve for this engine one bit. I think Lionel is fooling themselves on this. You need 072 for this kind of engine if you want it to look right. If anything, because the overhang on this thing is going to look horrendous. I don't want to even get into that, but I do like that they've got pretty much the whole Union Pacific paint scheme library here. If you want something specific, I love the the waving U.S. flag logo on the side of the engine. That's always a classic. It's always an eye catcher with the UP yellow and the gray. Terrific, and I really like the Alaska. Actually, I know it's completely unprototypical, but it's very different and really cool.
Awesome. Tim, you want to go?
Yeah, I like the DD35s. It wouldn't be my first choice. To me, if I were going to go with a big UP locomotive like this, I would go with the DD40s, hands down. But these are still neat locomotives. As far as the 2 fantasy schemes, the Alaska and the Santa Fe, no comment. That's the most politest thing I can come up with right now.
I'll comment.
I don't want to hurt feelings.
RJ's better hurt some feelings.
I know.
I like the Alaska one. You know, I'm typically not a guy for fantasy paint schemes, but I love that Alaska one. You know, if I had $1,000 laying around, maybe I'd get one. But I can just picture a DD35 pulling a mile-long oil train in Alaska somewhere. I don't know. It's like one of those like big beefy locomotives that I don't know. I would think that the Alaska Railroad would own. Obviously, they didn't. But the Santa Fe, But interesting that Lionel really went for the UP collectors here, going with the 412-2 and the DD35 in the same catalog. After doing the UP veranda turbines in the last one.
They're just going after those UP guys. They just want all their money. Hey, RJ, just check under your pillow. Maybe if you pull out a molder, the tooth fairy will give you an extra $1,000. Hey, maybe it'll give you $2,000. You can buy me something.
It's just another $150. It's pocket change.
Yeah, it's pocket change.
Find that in the couch.
All right, Sid, go for it, dude.
I was just gonna say I kind of agree with Tim. I'm not a big modern diesel guy, but if I were to go with a DD style engine, it would be the DD40Xs because I've seen more of those than these, and I just think they're a little more historic and interesting. But it's always cool to see something come back. I don't think they've done these since the early 2000s or a little maybe around 2010ish. It's been so long I can't remember. But yeah, it's interesting to see, and they definitely are going for those UP guys. At least there's no big boy. I'm just saying, the big boy comes out has been put in catalogs a few too many times. So I'm glad to see some other UP stuff like the 412-2 and these because they're more obscure. They're not mainstream.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna quickly piggyback off of what you guys said with the DD35 and the DD40s. Nice engines, DD35s, but for me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it, and the reason being is just because big engine, I just think deserves to have a big cab. Looking at these engines with the itty bitty cab, I just get flashbacks to like a pinhead, a guy with an itty bitty head with a big body. So I'm more of a DD40 fan, but these are still nice engines. Anybody else want to chime in? Blake, you want to go next?
Question. Does the Alaska one have rotating bearing caps?
Maybe.
No.
I had to say it. I had to say it.
It'd be something if he watches this.
Not something.
Whoever that may be.
Yeah. I don't know who that is. I just kept hearing the joke. Yeah. Not my style of engine, but it's a really cool engine. Not gonna lie. If I wanted to buy one, probably one of the Union Pacific ones. I don't know which one. I didn't get that far with thinking. Because 3 of them kind of look the same. Oh wait, they have something different on each one. Okay. That's about it. It's not my style engine, but still a pretty cool engine.
Oh yeah, for sure. MattyC, did you want to say anything or no? You're good. All right. Anybody else? Last call. Hands up if you want to say something. Hide your hands if you don't want to say anything. All right. So let's move on to the next one. And these ones, I know a good friend of ours, Matt Trainlover. He's gonna want one of these. So they got the little switchers, and we have them with fixed pilots. They can go around 031, I believe. And you have a plethora of road numbers. I think I know another Matt who might be losing his money this one. They got Rio Grande and EJ&E for us Midwest guys, some Penn Central, Bnsf, Santa Fe, and the US Steel. Now that one's very bright. But these are awesome. They've got fixed pilots, which is something our buddy Matt has been begging and complaining for at the same time. So I bet he's going to be happy. And these will be nice engines. Once again, nice little engine for those of you who have smaller layouts but want to get into the world of command control or something that's a little bit on the nicer end. So I'll open this up to the floor if anybody wants to chime in and say something. Tim.
I like these little switchers that Lionel's been doing recently. They're very cool, especially with fixed pilots. Makes it very easy for Katie couplers to be installed. And also, I like the motor design that they come up with, where the motor is actually inside the fuel tank. The only thing that I hope that Lionel does differently with these versus a couple of the other runs, like the SW7 that they did a couple years ago, use the correct grease that does not make the gearboxes harden up, because I've seen a couple where they have hardened up because the grease is wrong. And it's just like, come on now.
It's a no-brainer. Come on.
Yeah. The only road name suggestion that I would make to JDStucks, his mom worked for US Steel, I believe. That he mentioned that in a video about a long time ago. And so I'd be like, Jason, I think it's time for your first legacy piece, and what better way to be a US Steel SW1200. I think it would go great with his coil cars that he has already. I'm sure if he watches this and great, you're gonna make me spend all my money on this engine. I'm like, yeah. You need a legacy engine. You have legacy now. Get one.
Come on, Mr. MTH, it's about time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this in here for those of you guys who are wondering where Chris and Jason went. It is pretty late here on not only the Midwest but on the East Coast as well. So folks have to pop in and out. Well, that's just because they have other commitments. And as much as we love talking trains, I'm not gonna hold them hostage. But yeah, Jason, hopefully you get one, dude. Sid, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, I'm not buying one of these. I do like them. I've messed around with a NW2 before. Of course, I was doing that. And if I were to buy one, I would buy that Penn Central one. That one is very clean. I love that logo. It's just different from all the others. It's very clean.
Oh yeah, MattyC, did you want to chime in?
I'm just happy that they're releasing these tiny little guys for people that, like you said before, want to maybe get into the command control thing, but might not have a really large layout. And this is very friendly. This is can run on literally every possible curve in O-scale. And the price point on these, if you're going to go through like Charles Rowe or Nicholas Smith or any of the other companies out there, you're going to get this for almost pretty much a steal. This is a really, really solid engine. It's going to be a nice detailed piece. Some of these actually have beacons on the top of the cabs there. It doesn't say that they light up in the description of the engine, but I would assume that there is a little LED bulb in there that I'm sure you can control with the Legacy remote. Wonderful paint schemes they're offering here. I'm not personally pre-ordering one of these because they had the SW8s in the last catalog, so I pre-ordered Strasbourg 8618, but same concept, a great price point and a very small engine for basically any layout out there. I do love the Penn Central. I think that would be my choice. I love the yellow handrails, and I love that the logo with the red and the white. It looks really sharp, and the EJ&E one looks fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's a nice one. DJ, did you want to chime in, dude?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see these two, and we're going to go in for the Penn Central. So that seems to be the hot topic, the Penn Central one. W8 on order, so to have both of them lashed up together will be really something. So I'm happy that they did the switcher with the red P. I always thought the red P with the white C looked sharp. So that's really nice to see that. So happy to see these in the catalog, and I'm curious to see if we get any custom runs from other hobby stores, what might be done. I know MattyC Trains did a B&O SW8, and I think there's a couple other custom SW8s coming out. Can't remember off the top of my head what they are. But let's see what the dealers come out with. So cool stuff. Real excited for that Penn Central.
Oh yeah. Anybody else want to chime in? Raise a show of hands to make sure I know. Or are we all good? We all good? All right. So let's move on to the next one. Now this is one that I'm gonna have to step back because I know these East Coasters, they're gonna go to town on these ones. So I'm actually gonna lump these two, the next 4 pages. So we have the new Sea Liners, and we have a bunch of paint schemes. We have a demonstrator paint scheme, Canadian National, New York Central, Pennsylvania. I guess we have a Long Island one or something like that with some matching cars or whatever. I don't know who would like those.
Never heard of that railroad.
Yeah, who knows? Who's even from there? I don't even know. I got some New Haven passenger cars on the next page, and we also have a New Haven Sea Liner as well. So, personally, not for me. Cool engines though. The trucks, I only recently got that pointed out to me. I didn't notice that they were different, so they're definitely oddballs for sure. But yeah, really, really cool engines, and I'm going to quickly throw the grenade in for these guys to handle and run away very quickly. So go for it, guys.
Yeah, these are this is great. So this is another fine example of an MTH tooling that is acquired by Lionel now. So this is great to see this model back on the market. Personally, I am stoked that they are bringing the Long Island back, and this is in the Dashing Dan scheme. This is a scheme that I think majority of us are really excited about, because MTH did offer this when they were producing this model. However, the difference was they sold it as an ABA set, which is incorrect to the Long Island Railroad completely. So not a whole lot of people bought them, and they're not very hard, and they actually are quite hard to find. But the overall look of this engine is great. I'm excited to see what Lionel is going to add to the existing platform they have here. The Dashing Dan scheme looks terrific, and as you can see, they have some new matching passenger cars, which, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I think this is new tooling passenger cars. I've never seen these cars before, but they look really close to what we used to have when the Sea Liners were in their prime. They look absolutely fantastic, and something to note for any of the Long Island guys listening to the show here, Train World has announced, well, they haven't officially announced, but they messaged me on Instagram saying that they have some exclusives on the way. So that could also mean a Goodfella paint scheme as well as the Titchy paint scheme. So very exciting stuff. I'm chalking myself up for Class 1 bankruptcy, because this is another engine I might have to consider not passing up on.
You poor East Coast guys, and us poor Midwest guys, and all the poor UP guys. So Tim wanted to say something, and we'll go to RJ.
So, MattyC, these are actually the Reading Company cars that first appeared in 2020 Volume 1 catalog.
Okay.
Yeah, they're actually... I think they're really nice cars. I'm not a Reading guy, but they look really cool. And I do agree. I'm not a big Long Island guy, but I do like the paint scheme on it. I think it's really cool.
Awesome. RJ, you want to take the mic here?
Yeah, so you can probably guess, by the way I talk and other things, that I pre-ordered a Long Island Railroad Sea Liner, as well as the 4 matching passenger cars to go along with it. But one interesting note is that the demonstrator models were like the actual train models, not the Lionel train models, ran on Long Island when they were being trialed by the Long Island Railroad. So in theory, there are actually 4 models on this page that ran on Long Island. But I'm just going with the 1 Dashing Dan with the 4 passenger cars, and I'm extremely happy with that. Dashing Dan is my favorite Long Island Railroad paint scheme, and it's going to look great going with my H16-44 from Lionel. So super excited for that. I'm a little sad that Lionel went with the Tuscan paint scheme for the Pennsylvania unit. The Pennsylvania Railroad Sea Liners had two axle trucks, and the model that Lionel is doing here is a 3-axle truck and a 2-axle truck, which is accurate to the Long Island. But the Pennsylvania Railroad Sea Liners never wore a Tuscan; they were Brunswick green. Maybe Lionel should have done that, but hey, it's their company. But super excited to get my Sea Liner.
Maybe they put too much research into 90 or something. I don't know. Steve, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, I went ahead and ordered the Sea Liner. And as for the passenger cars, I do have a set already in the lighter gray, these very same passenger cars. So I knew they, existed and whatnot. At this point, I have another pair of passenger cars in that paint scheme by MTH, and I know they're probably going to differ in color, but I'm going to, at the moment, say I'll wait and see if any become available. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of stock ordered by Train World and whatnot. So I, for the moment, just placed the pre-order on the engine. So.
Gotcha. Anybody else want to chime in? DJ, go for it, my dude.
So yeah, real excited to see the Sea Liners. So it was a surprise to see that Lionel purchased this tooling from MTH. As for me, I'm going to get a demo unit plus the Dashing Dan unit and the passenger cars. So I think it's really awesome that they did the demo. I was not expecting that at all. and it would be really cool to run that alongside some dirty steam engines to show the transition into the diesels. So I think that's really, really neat. As far as Train World goes, I had helped them with their RS1 that they're doing for the MTH RS1. It was when they first announced it, they had it in Brunswick green, and the RS1 on the Long Island Railroad was actually black. So I gave them some information regarding that, and they switched it over to black. And then through that, I gave them some other suggestions. One of them was to do sea liners, and so I helped them out with some paint schemes for sea liners. One of them was this Dashing Dan, but I had no idea that Lionel was in the process of buying the tooling. So I was expecting to see some uncatalogued MTH sea liners down the line, but here we are with Lionel, which I think is awesome. I think it's incredible. So as far as the special announcements, I'm expecting to see Goodfellas, and hopefully we'll see Titchy as well. So I would consider selling the MTH Titchy to get a legacy one. So we'll see. And one final note is I kind of like the Pensy unit. I'm not going to order it, but the reason why some sea liners have the 3-axle truck in the back is to support the weight of the steam generator for passenger trains. So I think that is the reason why Lionel decided to do a Tuscan 3-axle Pennsylvania unit for passenger service. So it's a fantasy, but when they do the 2-axle version, I'm pretty sure that they will do the Pennsylvania Brunswick green. So, if you want to get something that sort of kind of looks like the Baldwin 6-axle Shark, this sea liner might, be a good substitute. But I like it. I like the Pennsylvania Tuscan. Hopefully they get the Tuscan right. But that's what I have to say about them. I'm real excited for the Long Island stuff. And, I'm waiting for that Train World announcement too. So, it's been a little while since I've had, talked with Ken Bianco. So hopefully we'll be seeing that announcement real soon. And I'm definitely going to support that project too with probably just one unit at this point. But I'm real excited. That's it. That's what I got.
Awesome. And before I open up to the floor again, I want to welcome a couple of people to our little catalog review here. We have JDStucks is back again. You missed Tim taunting you while you were gone, so you can watch the video back later for that. And I want to welcome a dear friend of ours, RBP Trains, or RBP Chris here. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Fantastic, guys. How you doing?
Doing great. We are currently going through the Lionel catalog. We are still in the sea liners, so I'm going to once again open it up to the floor. And if anybody has any comments, please raise their hand and we'll let you go up. Blake, go for it, dude. The floor's yours.
Islander, I think I'm obligated to. I haven't decided on a paint scheme yet. I want to see what Train World's going to offer. But more importantly, I have to see how much money I have. But I'm really digging the Dashing Dan scheme here, and the passenger cars. But I want to see what Train Worlds look like. Their exclusives look like first before I make a decision. I don't know if I'm gonna buy one, but we'll have to see. But they look great, and I too like the Pennsylvania Railroad one as well. That one's nice too. I'm a sucker for Tuscan Red, so.
Gotcha.
Lionel hit us hard here.
Oh, yeah.
They did really bad this year for me. With the Long Island sea liner in particular, as far as if Train World is going to do the Titchy scheme, which I'm assuming they're going to, my only hope as far as paint on it is I hope they get the orange correct. DJ, I know you have your MTH model that you modified as far as the paint, and you added the correct grapefruit orange that is on there. So I'm really hoping that from the factory that Lionel puts that correct shade of orange on the overall appearance of the engine. As well as I believe you mentioned it that was incorrect to the MTH model when they first did it. The roofs on the sea liners, specifically the Titchy scheme, they're black roofs. So I would like to hope that they do that as well. And I hope they get the gray correct. That's my only 2 cents. Other than that, I'm sure they're going to do great.
Now go ahead, DJ.
For the Titchy Sea Liners, the roofs were originally white, but they were repainted black pretty quickly because of all of the soot and dirt. It made no sense to have a white roof. And then with the RS1s, the roofs on the cab were black. So, yeah. And if the orange is wrong, I will definitely, contact Ken and Ryan and, offer them the correct color. It's Tester's flat grapefruit is what I use. It's just a Tester's bottle of paint, so it's really not a hard correction.
Gotcha.
So let's see. I don't know why MTH decided to use Dashing Dan colors with Titchy font, but hopefully Lionel won't do that.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
That's like the problem when MTH was making Long Island locomotives. So every time they did a diesel, they used a very basic standard Dashing Dan orange and gray, and it worked obviously on some models. You can see in the background I have the Dashing Dan wave paint scheme, which they did correct, but it doesn't look great on some of the other models that they did. But I'm sure Lionel with their paint department, even though lately kind of been so, but I'm sure that with DJ's help, they're gonna get these engines completely right and rip my bank account. That's all I gotta say to that.
Well, witness protection. There we go. Sid, go for it, dude.
I have nothing to. Actually, I do have one. I have convinced some people to buy the demonstrator units. So I guess I'm selling some sea liners for Lionel, but no, I'm not gonna order one. It's not my thing, but I was going to just say maybe we can let Jason and Chris give their 2 cents on maybe the things that fit in their category that we've already gone over. Because I know Jason is a big modern diesel guy, and Chris is also an Eastern guy. So our wallets have been hit in this catalog. So maybe we can just give them a couple minutes to just give their 2 cents on some things that we've already talked about in the catalog.
Yeah, for sure. Jason, you want to lead us off? We just finished all the scale engines, so we'll finish up with that then.
Well, first I want to know what I was being taunted about.
Tim, do you wanna chime in, or anybody want to instead of Tim give the information?
So Jason, we promised your viewers that you were going to pre-order the U.S. Steel SW1200.
You promised my viewers.
Yes, that you
that I was going to pre-order it.
Yeah, your first Lionel Legacy engine.
And just to screw with me?
Yeah.
It's for fun.
Oh, okay. I'm definitely gonna make my first Lionel engine. I'm gonna pick one that is literally one of my biggest competitors in the steel industry. Yeah. I'm gonna pick a U.S. Steel SW switcher. You bet. I thought maybe you were gonna tell them that if the one that I was going to. What was I going to do? Give away a Strasbourg 90 if I hit 10,000 subscribers? I thought that's the one you were maybe going to.
I'm still holding you to that, buddy.
It actually got to hit it by the pre-order deadline. So, the clock is ticking.
You heard it, guys.
All right, boys, get the Chinese bots going.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I did my catalog review. I think I posted it yesterday. And I don't have anything bad to say about it. It's I actually can look at this catalog now that I have Legacy. I can actually look at it and think realistically, which of these engines do I want to add to the layout? But I've spoken with you guys before. I want to buy something very meaningful to me personally, and it just wasn't in this catalog yet. I've been to Strasbourg. I went as a kid, and I remember it pretty well. But it's been a really long time, and I think I just don't have the nostalgic connection that a lot of you guys have. And then when you see the price tag, I just it doesn't. I can't justify it. I just can't. And again, it's nothing wrong with the engine. It's not because I think the price is ridiculous, although it is pretty high. It just doesn't speak to me like it does most of you who are on the East Coast or on the east side of the states. That being said, I'm more into I'm more interested in Lionel's rolling stock offerings in this catalog, which has been the case the last few years. In fact, before I had to hop off and get back on, I had mentioned, like, if you saw what I've spent on rolling stock over the past 5 years, you wouldn't be calling me Mr. MTH. You'd be calling me Mr. Lionel, because I've got, I think I've got like 40 Lionel coal cars that I've bought within the last couple months. I sold all my MTH auto racks and have bought like 15 Lionel auto racks. Yeah, there you go, RJ. I even convinced RJ to get them. And I've bought like 35 of the Lionel ethanol cars as well, not to mention Milligons. Like, I really like what Lionel's been doing with their modern rolling stock, is they've introduced some new toolings and have finally kind of realized, like, oh, there's some guys out there who want to model full-scale modern stuff. So, like, I get excited with the Lionel catalog to see those things. And now it's just a bonus that, looking at Legacy, you know, the potential is there now for me to add my first Legacy engine. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I promise you that. But what I am going to order is I'll order one of the big high cube auto parts box cars. I've got like 10 or 12 of those already, but I'm going to get at least one of the Canadian National. I don't like the graffiti on the cars. That's just a personal preference. I wish they were doing the Conrail and the Norfolk Southern. I wish they were doing without graffiti. And then I'll probably buy some more coal cars just because I don't have enough already. And that's it. It's not gonna hit my wallet like some of you guys with. I mean, if you're getting the Strasbourg 90, like, you're screwed. Like, that's just how it is. But at any rate, the Atlas catalog really screwed me, because I think I'm ordering like 12 freight cars, and Atlas does not go cheap when it comes to selling their freight cars. So I've got a pretty full pipeline of pre-orders in already. But the Lionel catalog, I enjoyed it. It was fun to go through, and, you know, I'll still look through it a couple dozen times, I'm sure. So there's my quick take on it. And sorry I had to hop off. The funniest two things happened. One was my phone died, and so while it was recharging, I said hello to my neighbor who had a bunch of buddies over, and he said, "Oh, Jason, how's your train layout coming?" And suddenly all these guys were like, "Let's go see the train layout." And so, like, I literally had like 8 guys just chilling over here, like, "Oh, that's so cool, let me see that, let me pick this up." And I'm like, please don't drop that. That was $600. Like, but it was pretty funny. So, like, they left, and I ran and grabbed my phone and hopped back on as quick as I can. So I'm sorry I had to leave, but
no worries, dude.
Thanks for having me back on again.
Yeah, sure thing. And it's nice to have you back. Chris, catch us up, dude. We just got through all the scale engines. What? Anything in there that piques your interest?
You know, better late than never, I guess. I have the same problem that Jason has. You know, I just had a house full of people too, and I had to clean this room up before I could even turn my phone on. So I have a bunch of kids running around in here. No, I definitely jumped on the bandwagon for the Strasbourg stuff. So nothing to really say there, except for it'll show up here eventually, and we'll run it around. I'll probably snag this one of their 280s too, the Chesapeake and Ohio. Being a Mid-Atlantic guy, you know, Chesapeake and Ohio is a railroad that I've always been fascinated with. So, you know, that engine I think I'm more excited about. I'm mostly doing the 90 because I'm a hype guy. So if people get excited, then so do I, right? I'm a total fanboy. So everybody's talking about it, so I obviously have to get one too. I couldn't tell you, like, you know, you guys are talking about color accuracy, and you guys know me. I could care less. I know nothing about that stuff. I buy fantasy schemes, right? Everybody makes fun of me for that. So it could show up, and the rivet might be in the wrong spot, or it might not have the right amount of cylinders for a steam engine, and I won't know any difference. I'll smile and run it, and we'll have a good time. So that's really all I'm looking at getting for this catalog. Could pass in on the diesels right now because we have so many pre-ordered diesels from the last catalog that have yet to come in. So that's going to be coming up here soon. But that's really what I'm focusing on. I've always loved the wood-sided passenger cars. So to have those in something other than this awesome royal blue set is going to be exciting.
Awesome.
That's what I'm doing.
Glad to hear that. Alrighty then, so with us wrapping up the scale engines, now we have the premium set collection. So there's a couple in here. Jason, you came back at the right time because I feel like you have the input for some of this modern stuff in here. I don't understand this stuff. It confuses me. But I'm going to lump these all together and go say what they are, and then we can open it up to roundtable or open forum discussion. First, we have this Bnsf coal train set, and this for the price. Wow, you're getting a legacy diesel engine and was it 6 coal cars here? That's awesome. And if you ever want to get into modern freight trains, seeing those long coal trains, well, this is your chance to do it because I don't think you can get a better value than that. Next, we have the Burlington Northern Hustle Muscle freight set. Now, that's just something you just can't help but smiling when you say hustle muscle. Come on now. You got BNN. These up the front, a flat car with a fire truck, some various rolling stock of the heritage railroads that are a part of BN now. Great set. I know some folks will be excited for that. You have the Bicentennial coal train set. Now this one's a really interesting one. It's definitely blinds you with a lot of patriotism in this one. It's a really awesome set. Again, not for me. I'll move past this one, but really cool looking engine and cars. We have the Grand Canyon Railway Steam set. RJ, if you wanted my money to go bye-bye, well, here's your chance. This set is awesome. I love the look of the engine with just the bell right in front of the boiler front, with the vegetable oil tender. And then we have, I believe they said they're modeled after SP commuter cars, and being an SP sucker and loving SP commuter cars, well, I kind of have to buy this. And this engine reminds me a lot of Frisco 1630, just appearance-wise. I know it's not exact, but it's close as I'm going to get unless we're doing a custom run. So my money, there you go, bye-bye. And then that is it for the premium set. So I will, I'm going to ask Jason, since he's one of the newcomers, and Chris to open up with these ones. Are these sets speaking to you guys? Chris, you want to go first, and we'll go with Jason?
I won't lie, I didn't look past the steam engines. This is cool. I might get this one, this BNSF one. Yeah, I think I'm going to get this one too. I have two BNSF legacy diesels, and this would just like round it out. It'd be great to have like 3 and pull in a big coal drag. So I might need to jump off of this thing because this is going to be bad. I'm going to end up ordering more stuff, Johnny. Full disclosure, yeah. But aside from the those first couple pages, this is amazing. I think that's the one I like, the BNSF coal drag.
Maybe it's a double-edged sword having you on for Chris, for your sake. Maybe we're a bad influence on you for this one.
As long as my wife doesn't watch this, I'm okay.
Don't tell her about my channel, then. Don't worry about it. Jason, what do you think, dude?
The one that I thought was the coolest, I have to agree with Chris. I thought it was the BNSF coal train, and it, like you mentioned, it's the price. With all of the very high prices that are in the Lionel catalog and all the people complaining about it, I read the price for the engine and the coal cars, and I'm like, if somebody wanted to get into some modern freight, like this is the set to get. And I'm not going to be ordering it just because I already have a whole bunch of coal cars and already have some BNSF engines, but I think these are some of the best bang for the buck sets.
Yeah, I looked at the picture. Yeah, I'm with you, Jason. I looked at the picture and I thought that diagonal shot of the engine and the cars was like all of the stuff you could buy together. And then I realized that that's the set.
Yeah. Good price.
That's awesome.
This set to me reminds me of the back in 2000. I think it was 2009 or 2010. Lionel did a NS tank train set, and that at its time was a bang for your buck too. You got a lot of awesome, really high detailed tank cars, and then you got the locomotive. Same thing here. This is probably the best premium set I've seen them release in a while. I mean, also something to note. That the last car on this actually has a built-in EOD device. So that alone, you're looking at an EOD car built in. You're looking at like a $125 car or something of that price range. That's a really awesome price too. And the locomotive's fantastic. I love it. If I was a modern guy, I'd definitely be all in on this. I love the BNSF. I also really like the Grand Canyon set. I think that's really awesome that they're offering, alongside with the Strasburg Railroad, they're offering some other tourist lines into the hobby. Because if you guys remember from the Volume 1 catalog, they had the New Hope and Ivyland Railroad, which is fantastic that they're offering that to the fans of certain like railroads that they've always visited, and now they get to have models of them. So win-win.
So if the BNSF coal train set is the biggest bang for your buck, the muscle hauler set is the worst bang for your buck. And I'm gonna make my case. So you get all those freight cars, and the box car is a standard O box car. Yes, that one, Chris.
You don't want the fire truck, RJ?
Well, I did order the fire truck, but that's a different. That's beside the point. I ordered it. There's 6 other road names too. But the box car that comes in that is a standard O box car. The fire truck and that flat car MSRP is like $150 for that car. A $35 box car, a cupola cam caboose. I don't know. Someone commented on my video that Lionel including the standard O box car in that set was offensive, and I don't get how you can justify that set costing more than the BNSF coal train set. But yeah, I don't think that I had no interest in it anyway. It's not a railroad that I model or anything. I mean, you get a cupola cam caboose. I mean, big whoop, but I don't think it's worth it for that price that they're putting on it.
Gotcha. Anybody else wanna chime in? DJ, go for it, dude. Oh, and then we'll go to Tim afterwards.
Yeah. I like coal trains, but I like steam era stuff. So the BNSF set is really cool, but a little too modern for me. But nice to see it. Hustle Muscle, I agree with what you guys said. Not my thing, and it's too pricey for what you're getting. The Cambria and Indiana Bicentennial train set, if I was going to order a train set, that's the one it would be. It's a nice little coal train from a time period that I do model. Look good alongside some Penn Central stuff. Also, maybe even some late era Pensy stuff. Just really cool looking set, and I like the two Bicentennial hoppers, and then the 2 black hoppers, and then you get the add-on 2-pack, and the whole set except for the diesel, the whole set is die-cast. I think even the caboose is die-cast. I think it's like, look at it closer. I think it's one of those N5C like Pensy type cabooses. So you get a lot in this set, a lot of metal. And I think it looks really awesome. So that's the highlight of the sets for me. And the Grand Canyon set's really nice looking too. Not really my railroad, but still a beautiful set. So that's what I got to say about the sets. I really like that Switcher set. Really awesome.
Awesome. Tim, want to chime in?
So, yeah, I think I agree with everybody who said that the BNSF coal train set is pretty neat. I do agree. I do like that. The Hustle Muscle set, I agree with RJ about the price. Me personally, I think it's better just because of the variety that you get. I mean, you get a box car, a covered hopper, black car, and a caboose. I think that's really cool. Just from that standpoint, the set is just more appealing, but not at the price. The Cambria and Indiana coal train set, that's another great little piece. I was talking to one of my buddies at work, and I was joking about, yeah, that coal train set's gonna be running nice and slow with that SW1200. It's just kind of funny to me, but it's all right. The Grand Canyon set, no bueno for me. I'm out.
I'm gonna run it just to spite you then. So,
I know you will.
Every hangout we'll have, I'll run that set. The only thing I'll run. Anybody else want to chime in? How about we have, how about we go from Steve to Blake to Sid? Sound good?
Okay. Of the sets, I'm a steam lover, and the Grand Canyon set holds a little nostalgia because I've ridden that train out there, so if I was to order, that would be the set that I'd be ordering.
Awesome. Yay, another fan. All right, Blake, you're up.
Agree with Steve. I like the Grand Canyon set too. I've never been to the Grand Canyon or the railroad out there, but I don't really model modern era stuff, so the Grand Canyon set to me is the winner.
Oh, yeah.
And I really like they modified the locomotive a little bit to appear like number 29. That's 29, right?
Yes,
number
I believe so.
29. Yeah. Yeah, they made it's not, the exact engine, but it's close enough. So, definitely, if I had more money, I'd definitely pre-order that one. So that's all I have to say.
Gotcha. Sid, what's on your mind, dude?
I'm similar to DJ. I'm very much a steam guy and earlier diesels. So other than the Grand Canyon set, the Coal Train set doesn't really appeal to me. However, I understand the bang for your buck in that set, and I would love in some future catalog for Lionel to do a set that is a N&W Coal Train set with a Y6B and some coal cars, because I'm a big N&W guy, so I would love that. Or maybe even a Class A, see a return of a legend to the line. But yeah, I understand the bang for your buck in that set, and I agree with the other set being interesting but more expensive. But maybe one day Lionel will make another Steam era Coal Train set with N&W in mind.
Sid's a big fan of the raw power of a 6YB, something he will never ever forget.
It's up there. It's up there on my wall.
All right. Any final remarks on these premium sets? Hand up if you want to. Hide your hands if you don't, I suppose. All right. So with that, we've gotten to the premium sets. We've gotten to the engine. So I'm gonna lump this last category all together. I know there's going to be some things that people want to say. It's a little bit shame that Jason kind of popped off, but he'll pop on back eventually. Or never, who knows. We have the Wood Coach 2-pack. So these are alternative road names to the Strasbourg ones we had. And I see Boston and Maine, so the origin of those Strasbourg cars, if I'm correct, from what MattyC said. He's going to be a nod, so I don't feel like a complete idiot. After that, we have the 4-door high-cube boxcars. So these are massive cars. Go with any massive engines you buy this catalog. Got a bunch of road names, all of them very bright, awesome colors here. Afterwards, we have some 4-door high-cube boxcars, more tall, big cars, and we got some graffiti on these, so maybe it's good that Jason's gone, because he probably despised these. And then we have a car that stands out to me, the Hobo Sounds boxcar. Now, these are going to be really cool if you like having sounds to your trains. I'm going to definitely want one of these. Now, what I think is really cool is that you'll hear harmonica music as the car is rolling, and then when the cars are in idle mode, like in a siding or something, you will hear some hobo camp sounds. So definitely some really interesting cars with some interesting features, with some really cool figures as well. You got 2 figures in this one. You got some 2-bay hoppers. These will be cool for you coal car people. You got your cylindrical covered hoppers as well, with a bunch of awesome road names. You've got your, RJ's favorite, you got those fire truck flat cars. Got a bunch of those, and then you got some cupola cam cabooses as well. You've got your CA1 cabooses in a bunch of Western Railroad paint schemes, as well as a Great Western one for anybody who got Great Western Strasbourg 90. You got some Standard O box cars, some Rotary Gondola 2-packs. I bet a lot of you love the Pensy ones. I bet we have a bunch of fans here, totally. MattyC is obviously clutching his head in excitement and not fear or hatred. And that is it for the rolling stock. So I will open it up to open forum. If you guys like something, well, let's hear it. And if you maybe somehow dislike something, let's hear that too.
So first off, we're gonna ex-nay that those Pennsy cars exist. Okay, we're just gonna pretend that they never cataloged them. Nobody's gonna get them. All right. But in all seriousness, I do like. Oh boy. Oh no. Oh boy. Anyway, I'm really excited for the hobo car. Actually, I am really excited to see what the sounds on those things are going to be. Because Lionel has been having a ton of fun at the office making these sounds cars lately. Like all the recordings and everything they put into some of these cars are fantastic. I'm really excited to hear the harmonica playing while you're going down the line on a fast freight or something like that. That's just going to be really really awesome. I'm curious, like when it's stopped, if you're gonna have like a rail policeman say, "Hey, you bums, get off the car! Go, scram!" or something. That should be fun. I like that. I also really like the fact that they're offering other paint schemes for the wood-sided cars. Lionel is going to take full advantage of this tooling, so I wouldn't be shocked in a couple years down the road we see more road names, like maybe some more B&O or some New York Central, because New York Central did have the 999, which is probably the more accurate 440 to fit with these. I like them a lot. They look great. The only other car that really interests me is I actually like the hopper, the 2-bay hopper cars that they're bringing back. These are all die-cast metal. These are wonderfully detailed models. Very cool. And the fire truck flat cars are awesome.
Awesome. I bet you're totally getting the NS 2-bay hoppers, right? Is that correct, MattyC? That's the road name you want?
Yeah, sure. I'll buy 5 of them.
Oh yeah, you'll buy a butt ton of them. Chris, I saw you wanted to say something. You want to chime in there?
Oh yeah, no, count me in on the hobo car. I'll probably get both of these suckers. I want to get Hobo Shoestring to sign one of these. Could you imagine that? Like put his tag right there. That is one car I would customize. Everybody knows I don't know how to weather cars or do anything like that.
Yeah,
But
DJ,
I want him
do
to
that.
sign it. Use a little fine pen and do his little string. That'd be great. I think this is the most exciting thing in this catalog to me now.
Well, we're just all spending Chris's money again, so. Or maybe make a habit of this. Who knows? Anybody else want to chime in? RJ,
All
you
right.
seem. Or how about RJ, then DJ, and then Tim?
Yeah, I won't give my opinion on all the cars because we're already at like 3 hours. But I am gonna pre-order the flat car with the fire truck on it. I would normally order the New York Central one, but if I were to order the New York Central one, I would want to get like a 1950s accurate City of New York fire truck on it, and to get an accurate O scale one that I like would be like $300. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to get the Southern one, and then I'm going to letter the fire truck up for my girlfriend's hometown. So that'll be cool, and it's another piece of Southern rolling stock. But those cars are stupid expensive. Like, okay, it has real wood on the deck or whatever. But if you look later towards the back of the catalog, the MSRP on the fire trucks alone is $70 for a die-cast fire truck. And I'm pretty sure it's just the old MTH tooling, which is unbelievable. Out of all the price increases from the older MTH items in the catalog, that fire truck, you can find them for $20 in hobby stores, and the MSRP on them is $70. So that's pretty crazy, but I guess I'm just an idiot. So I'm going to order them to go with the rest of my fire truck stuff.
All right, I get you there. DJ, what's on your mind, dude?
So I really love these wood passenger cars. The Pennsylvania ones really stand out to me with the olive trucks and all that nice orange and yellow trim. So, I don't know if I'm going to get them, but they definitely stand out to me. There's an uncatalogued Long Island Railroad Camelback coming out that's actually got a lot of pinstriping and a Russian iron boiler. I've got that on order. So, Pennsy and Long Island Railroad were kind of interchangeable back in the day, the steam era. So I thought that these would look really good behind that steam locomotive. So it's a consideration. And then the other item that I'm definitely ordering is the Erie Hobo boxcar. I think that's going to be really cool. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll weather that one up too. And, maybe I'll try to stick a harmonica in one of the hobos' mouths if I could somehow make one out of styrene or something. I don't know. But I'm real excited for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. So those are my two highlights. So
Awesome. Tim, the floor is yours, dude.
All right, I agree with everybody, and actually, I am Considering the price for the Hobo car, it's a very unique car. It's really cool that the price doesn't. It really doesn't matter. I think it's worth what they're asking for the car. It's better than the Freight Sound box car. This gives you a little something more than just regular, dun 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 dun. You know, the other car that I like, but I'm fine with my MTH version, the CA1 caboose. I'm sorry, it's not worth the $150 price tag, and you get nothing, no camera, no nothing. It's just the bare bones caboose. So for that reason, for the price, you get absolutely nothing else. I'm all in the caboose.
Don't blame you there. Don't blame you there. All right. So, anybody else want to chime in? Hands up so I make sure I don't miss you. So we got Blake. You got the floor, my dude.
Of the Woodside cars. The Pennsylvania cars look like the passenger cars that came with my twin brother's Pennsylvania Railroad hybrid 440. So it's nice that they're applying that same paint scheme to these Woodside cars. I don't plan on ordering them because I have other wood-sided cars and other paint schemes, so I don't need any more right now. The Hobosan box car, I might have to think about that. Other than that, the hoppers are nice too. I do like those too.
Just
I
do
do
it, Blake.
think it's a little
Hobo box car.
I
Just
do.
it.
I do think it's a little ridiculous on the fire truck car, how much they're asking for it. The fact that the diecast truck alone, they want what, $70 for? To me, it's not a $70 fire truck at all. It looks more like a $20 or $30 truck, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, those are my highlights.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for sharing with us, dude. And then with that, anybody else with any final notes? Hands up once again so we don't miss you. We're all good? All right. So we have two quick sections left, and then we're done. We're going to move on to the Lion Chief Plus 2.0 engines. We've got two ones here. We have some Hudsons. Unfortunately for our friend Sid over there, they're not scale Hudsons. And we also got an engine that maybe RJ might like, some Genesis engines. So I know these are going to be hot sellers. The Genesis engines look great. So, without further ado, because these guys, their arm's going to fall down and die if I don't let them talk, how about we have Sid, and then, that's a beautiful engine, Chris. Sid, and then RJ, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so on the Genesis P42s, they are empty, old Rail King toolings. Used to have one, sold it to a person we know. I had no reason to have the one I had, and people will buy them. Just for me personally, they're not scale, and I have no reason to have one because I don't really model Amtrak. Then on the Hudsons, sadly, they are not scale. However, they are paying tribute to the post-war 773 with that last one. Yes, beautiful engine, Chris. Whether you post-war collectors have the 64 version or the 50 version, they are both amazing models, and it's really cool to see them paying tribute to them. And I really like how they blackened the entire wheel, so it really looks like the 773. I'm not going to probably buy one of those, but maybe down the line, if I see one on the market, I could pick it up just for kind of a collecting side of thing, less of a runner, more just a shelf piece to have next to my Century Club 773. That's all I have to say. Definitely cool to see.
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure. And I want to throw the mic over to RJ, who I think is like a Via Rail fan or something like that. I don't know. Maybe he'll be interested in these.
I'm more SNCF or British Rail, but
there you go.
Sometimes I deal with this like American crap. I think it's called Amtrak, AMTRACK. Capital T, of course. The fact of the matter is that the Lion Chief 2.0 P42 is going to run you $400. The premier one that Atlas is going to release in a couple months is probably going to run you $100 more, if not less. With the Atlas one, you're going to have Proto Sounds 3.0, so it's going to have, station stops and all those fun features. With this Lionel one, it's simply just going to be the simple station stop effects. The pros of the Lionel one is that you have Bluetooth, but also the cons is that it's a 25-year-old tooling from MTH. I doubt that that Lionel is going to be updating it all that much. And having a Premier one and a Rail King one sitting next to each other, it's not a competition. And the fact that what made Rail King and Premier work is that there was such a large price difference between the two. A Rail King P42 cost around $275, and they'd make the Premier one for $425, or probably now $500 with inflation and everything. But if you're going to catalog that old Rail King with worse sounds and smoke and Bluetooth, I guess, for $400, and for another $100 you can get a 100 times better version from Atlas. I mean, you guys can feel free to disagree with me, but I think that the only reason why you should be considering one of these over the Atlas one is if you have a layout that can't handle the 042 radius needed for the Premier version.
Sid, what do you wanna chime in with here, bud?
Quick little thing. RJ and I usually butt heads because I'm a very big Lionel guy. He's a big MTH guy, but we agree on some things. And this I agree with. But you might as well buy an old Rail King one if you don't have the space for a scale one, because at the end of the day it'll probably be a more accurate in a sense model, or just more. You get more for your value because of the sounds and all of that. And I think at the end of the day, it'll just be a better model. And like RJ said, if you really want a quality model, the Atlas one in a couple months will be good. But if you really love Lion Chief products, well, here you go.
Oh yeah. Anyone else want to add the remarks? MattyC, go for it, dude.
I want to bring something up about the Hudsons real quick. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be put off immediately just based off of the price. If you look in the catalog, these are almost $600. And let me give a quick PSA as to why I think the price might make sense. If you guys remember, 2 catalogs ago, they released a special anniversary Lion Chief Santa Fe post-war set. Now, that post-war set was special in the fact that the sound set that was put in the F3s was almost Legacy-like. It was extremely close to Legacy sounds, and it had actually a lot of crew talk options, had a lot of horns, it had a lot of bells, and it had some of the sounds that you would expect on a Legacy diesel. So I'm almost debating if this is going to be like a baby Legacy steam locomotive. Are we going to get a couple of extra little hints and a little extra features that you might hear? Or I'm specifically focusing on the sound set. I'm convinced that the sound set on this thing might be near Legacy quality. So I would say if you are somebody out there listening to us tonight and you're interested in the Hudson but very put off by the price, wait till they maybe consider like I said before, with Strasbourg 90, wait till they do a demos with Dave and they show this engine off, because I think the sounds actually might be a little better than the first time that they did the Hudsons. So, that being said, I like the Amtrak engines, but I'm with RJ and Sid. Go get an MTH one. Don't waste your money on the Lionel one. But that being said, we'll see how it goes.
Yep, and I'm with you there, MattyC. Come on, I mean, yeah, they're a bit high in the price for the 2.0 ones, but yeah, hold out for the sounds, guys. When I first saw these, I was like, they're just Lion Chief, because I thought of the first runs, but hey, with 2.0, these things could be pretty beefy, so keep that in mind. Once again, I think, but Chris, would you like to say something for this one?
I'm just excited to have a 773 that can go under my tree. I almost fell out of my chair when I saw that was in there. So.
All right. Anybody else want to add their 2 cents? Hands up if you do. Hide your hands if you don't. All right. So I'm going to. Oh, Sid, did you want to say something? Go for it, dude.
I was just going to quickly say that with what MattyC was saying, and with the Hudsons in mind, those junior, I call them junior Hudsons, are seriously nice models at the end of the day. Again, they are expensive, but I have some very old versions of them, and they are solid models. Like Chris said, it's a good model for under the Christmas tree. It's the definition of like the old Lionel steam engine. It's just this black heavy steam engine that will get the job done. And if it has a whistle like what the Empire State Express Hudson has or the J3A Hudsons have, it'll truly be a solid model. And I definitely think people will enjoy it.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, so with that in mind, we're gonna quickly blow through these last section. I'm actually gonna lump these two together. So we have the Army Freight Line Chief set, and we have the Pennsylvania Keystone Line Chief set, which we've seen since the dawn of time. But that first set, really, really cool. I think MattyC and I have the same opinion on this one, that it's about time we get more action things from Lionel for the starter sets. I love my theme sets. I think they're really great in getting people into the hobby. I think Chris can attest for the Littlest Pet Shop set that you may have seen on his channel before. He's a lover of that set. And I know the Frozen set does thing, Hogwarts Express, Polar Express, but I think they need to go a little bit harder than just putting pretty decals on the side. So with these action sets, I think you'll give kids the hook to get in and give them the play value to keep them engaged in the hobby, which is what I think is really important. Having that missile firing car is going to be awesome. Searchlight car is also great with the AA gun on top. I kind of wish they would have an exploding ammunition box car to kind of have something to fire at, but hey, they already had some action cars in there. But this is really well done. The Pennsylvania Keystone or Pennsylvania Flyer, I'm not the biggest fan. I'd rather have something more play value than just, I make steam from coal and fire, and I'm the Pennsylvania Flyer. I don't want your haiku in my trains. Just please make cooler trains. So, but that's my 2 cents. I think it's really cool, and I'll open it up to the floor.
Anything you can enter. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Anything that you can interact with is always going to work, right? And if I go back to what Lionel's done with, let's talk about that Pet Shop Express. It has little like dogs and cats. That's what most of the kids that play with that set when they come to my house, my daughters and their friends, like that's what they focus on, is things that are tactile. So yeah, having that throwback to the post-war where you're launching rockets. I have some of those cars, and when my nephew comes over, that's the only car he wants to play with because he can launch things. And it's like the Area 51 set from their last catalog. That's the most popular set with the kids right now because it says weird things, and it's green, it's different. So if that's the appeal, some of these sets I think are to get folks into the hobby who may be a little bit older and have the money to put out for a starter set and aren't necessarily going to make the reach to Legacy. But the other ones really, as you said, are aimed towards a younger generation, something that you could do with your child. And the interaction is what makes it special and what will add the appeal, in my opinion.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I'm on the same fence with you guys. I think this is definitely something Lionel needs to take notes on. This is why they were so successful in the late 50s and after World War II in the 60s. Like, that was primetime Lionel. That's what made them so legendary to so many folks out there, because they remember the set that came with these awesome cars. Like, remember they had a submarine car that had a submarine that actually you could put in the water and it'll go underground. It will go into the water. It will sink and do everything. You had the exploding boxcar, which is probably my all-time favorite Lionel piece as far as action rolling stock goes. And you have the missile car where the missile comes out of the boxcar to like shoot it up. I mean, Lionel, if you guys are trying to really grab kids back into this hobby, this is what you got to do, because this military set is a fine example of that, because kids love playing military. They love playing stuff like Fortnite or whatever have you, like any of the stuff that has to do with like explosions and fun, cool stuff, like action stuff. I think this is something they can do, because you can take this set and kids are going to have existing toys at home. They're going to have military stuff at home, and their parents could go out and buy them like a flat car, and hey, you can put your Jeeps or your tanks onto the flat cars and whatnot. And then you have all these awesome cars. You can carry your soldiers around on them. So this is something that they really need to look at going forward. And this is definitely the step in the right direction for Lion Chief 2.0 sets.
Oh yeah, for sure. Any other one who wants to hop on? Sid, go for it, dude.
Yeah, I
And
was
then Blake
gonna just
afterwards.
yeah, I was just gonna kind of go on the idea of the action and the play value. A little so-called series I've had on my own channel is I review these old MPC sets, and while they are maybe not the best quality at the end of the day, in comparison to maybe the post-war or what we have now, they still have all that play value, and they have some really good features, and they were based off of the post-war models. Whether it was the higher-end sets like the Chessie System, the Alton Limited, and the Blue Comet, there were also the lower-end sets like the Silver Star, and the Laser Train is probably my favorite one. I have that set. It has a play mat. It has like these. The engine is chrome. The cars are chrome. There's a rocket. There's a helicopter. All these little stickers for everything, and the fact that they could do it then, during times that were rather hard for the company, I think they can do it now when they seem to be prospering really a lot, and I think they could definitely step it up a little and get more people back into the hobby.
They'll definitely be getting their money's worth out of you guys with the Strasbourg stuff. We're going to go from Blake to RJ, since Blake had his hand up beforehand.
You can't go wrong with the rocket car and, shooting rockets at things. I mean, come on, that's fun. Shooting it at like at a Lego house or something, or, your Hot Wheels cars or something. The kid in his mind, that's going to be like a full-on war. I mean, how better could that be? So I do agree. Lionel's got to do more action type sets. I mean, I said in the last review the Frozen set was cool, but it's just a bunch of stickers applied to the train. There's no play value to it other than the train itself. The rocket car and all that. It gives more life towards the train afterwards. They can interact with other toys, like what MattyC said. You could use other toys, interact with it. So we need more stuff like that. So I hope to see more of that. And the Pennsylvania set, it's just the Pennsylvania Keystone set. They release that every year. It's the same set. Typical 080 set. So not a bad set, but see, my club has raffled it off so many times. I'm tired of seeing it. So and every time we do a raffle, that's the set we choose. The club does not want to choose another road name. I don't know why.
It's the cheapest.
It's the cheapest. Oh no. Well, there we go.
Yeah. Well, other than that, that's all I have to say.
Gotcha. All right, throw the mic to you, RJ.
All right, so I'm going to continue this conversation along, taking it in a slightly different direction, and talk about the buildings that Lionel also catalogs to go along with this set. Couple things that I want to point out. One, Lionel's easy plug system is the not easiest thing in the world if you don't have Lionel Fast Track and enjoy seeing huge wires on your layout, because that's how they do that. But that's not an issue with this catalog. That's just Lionel being ignorant. What else? I think the person who benefits the most from this newest catalog is Brad Martz. Because basically what he charges for everything on eBay is what Lionel's charging for MTH products that they're making now. Like the CA1 caboose is $150. That's what he sells his for on eBay. The townhouse, that's now $100 from Lionel. I got mine used at a train show for $15 in 2020. And like the 2-story buildings, those are now $100. The barn is now $150. You can get a Woodland Scenics one for cheaper. People on the OGR forum, because everybody has a degree in economics. I actually have a degree in economics, but I won't get into it today. There's reasons why the cost went up between the tooling going from MTH to Lionel, but some of these prices are just absolutely insane, and I think it's most evident on the buildings. So, some of these buildings are double the price what they were with MTH, and it's just insane. gets me nervous for the next layout, and makes me feel good that there's Menards out there who are producing buildings for relatively the same price
Oh yeah.
as Lionel is, and you're getting a heck of a lot more in a Menards building than you are with the Lionel building, ex-MTH building.
Gotcha. Sid, you want to chime in there?
And RJ makes a good point with them overcharging for things like buildings and the fire truck and even the whatever.
Freaking smoke fluid doesn't even come with droppers anymore. You have to
Yes,
buy
$4. $4 for 2 pipettes. I can probably buy like a 100-pack on Amazon for like $5. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but them overcharging for things that are just totally not worth it is outrageous, and people have the right to complain about that. However, on a different note, when people complain about the pricing of, say, Strasbourg number 90, no, there's really no reason to complain about that. For one, it's a brass model. If you think that engine's expensive, look at the brand new third rail Allegheny, $5,000. That's ridiculous. I just saw DJ look. He saw that and he probably went crazy. And yeah, it's
Yeah, I did. I would
Yeah.
love a brass Allegheny, but not for that price.
not $5,000.
No way.
And
My
the
wife
fact,
cut my head off.
yeah, exactly. It's crazy. Brass models, they cost a lot to make. I don't know if 5,000 is really the number, but they do cost a lot of money to make. And it being a brass hybrid, you have the die cast involved, and it's brand new tooling. So there's no reason to complain about stuff like that. But yes, when it's a building or a fire truck that's this big, there's no reason you should be
$70 for a fire truck. You can go and get it at CVS for $5.
Exactly. It's crazy that kind of stuff. But I've been noticing on various social media groups that I'm with, there's lots of people that are complaining about pricing on the larger items, and they're not noticing these smaller things that really are the annoying ones. Like Strasbourg 90, that's not really annoying. That's just them complaining that they can't get it. They're just whining. They're not actually noticing what is worth it and what's not worth it, of course. So that's just all I had to say. I just wanted to say, don't complain about the stuff that's worth it. Complain about the stuff that is genuinely not worth it, like a $70 fire truck.
Exactly. And on that note, we're going to do the last section, and then we're going to do our closing remarks and what we have or are going to pre-order. We've got some anniversary rolling stock in O-Gauge. We have some great locomotive chase. That's really cool. Angela Trotter Thomas, GG1. You got some Union Pacific 160th anniversary boxcars and the Smithsonian boxcars. Those are really cool. You have your personalized ones. I'm not going to go through those because they're there in every catalog. And then, like I said, you guys mentioned earlier, you got some new buildings, some of them ex-MTH tooling. The prices may not be agreeable with some folks, and I don't blame them at all. But we have a couple accessories, plug and play. You got some missile launching cars, a lot of troop stuff military-wise, a Quonset hut, exploding military dump, flagpoles, train orders buildings, which is pretty interesting. The Tough Guys and Fitness, Tough Guys Gym and Fitness building. You got the barn, which is really cool with the lighting for the Christmas edition on the next page. Your NASA Mission Control Tower. You have your townhouse, your Thistle Stop flower shop, and your birding house. That's another one that people will probably be happy to see because, as I've been informed by other folks, the first time they got canceled because they were charging too little for them. So if you'd like to have burning houses with little burning people, then maybe that'll be for you. Then you got the droppers, which go buy them from Amazon. Come on, guys. And then your smoke float as well. After that, you got your fire trucks that make people angry, and then you've got your billboards. You have your very, very old bridge, and you have a bunch of other signs inspired by space, one that's telling you to go call your mother. So after all that, I will open that to the floor, and once again after that, we'll do some closing remarks. So let's do Sid, then RJ.
I think the thing that needs to be rescued by the fire truck is annoying RJ more than the fire truck, because a certain someone had that on order, but they got bamboozled by Lionel.
I didn't have that on order. It was a Christmas gift from my mother to me.
Oh, even worse.
Christmas is ruined.
So, all right, I'll tell the story real quick, and then Sid can finish his remarks. So, Lionel cataloged a burning house in the 2020 Volume 1 catalog. Or maybe it was 2019 Volume 2. And MSRP was like $100, and the dealer price was $89. And Lionel showed videos of it with like demos with Dave. It was all over their social media. Get your pre-orders in. Look how much smoke this thing gives off. It's going to be great. And then the delivery date kept getting pushed back. I'd ask in the live streams with Lionel, hey, when is it being released? Get ignored every time. Then the HO catalog came out this summer. Well, not this summer. Whenever the HO catalog came out, I guess April. And they announced an HO scale burning building for double the price the O scale building was. And I'm like, oh, okay, so the O scale building is going to get canceled. And 3 weeks later, Lionel announced that they canceled the O scale burning house. And now they brought it back in this catalog for $50 more.
Mm.
So you can get your $130 O scale burning house, and you can get 2 fire trucks for $140, and call it a day.
So,
But is there anything else you had to say, Sid?
nah, Sid's got.
Okay.
Any final remarks, Blake? You want to take this one?
I had one more thing.
Oh, okay, RJ. Then you finish your last thing, and then we'll have Blake.
The barns are ridiculously overpriced, but one cool note on the Christmas barn with the Christmas lights, it has 9 windows around it, and underneath each window is the name of each reindeer.
That's cool.
I don't know how many people picked up on that looking through the catalog. So that would be really cool to have on like a Christmas themed layout. I don't, so I'm not going to get it, but it's cool. Anyways, all right.
All right, Blake. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I think it's criminal that they're charging, what is it, $5 tickets.
Oop, you're cutting out there, Blake.
What?
Start say that again? Sorry.
I said, pipe bed prices are ridiculous. And if I want a burning house, I'm going to build a wooden house, partially burn it, then partially board it up. There's my burnt out house. Need an upgrade. But I do like that Christmas barn, though. That's pretty... If I had room on my layout, I'd get one of those barns. Maybe one a little cheaper, or just get an MTH one. But, that's all I have to say. It's nice that Lionel picked up the tooling for some of these buildings, but yeah, I have to agree. The pricing on some of them is a little ridiculous.
Gotcha.
And I do like that Call Your Mom billboard. That's pretty funny. I don't know why I think that's funny.
Call your mom. All right, so yeah. Oh, are you good there, Blake? I want to pass it off to DJ if you are. All right, DJ, you're up next, my dude.
So I really like the Christmas barn too. I love the reindeer names underneath the windows and the LED Christmas lights. I think that's really cool. I've been trying to pay a little more attention to accessories because I actually want to build something other than the Penn Central Railroad one day. So, and I don't know if you followed my videos, but I did plan on building something based on the Port Jefferson branch of the LIRR. And I wanted to start that about a year ago. And with all the family circumstances, I just couldn't do that. So as of right now, I'm still dealing with some stuff that doesn't allow me to have a lot of layout time. But for 2022, I really want to get started. I've already bought a bunch of MTH scale track, and I've been thinking about some accessories. So this barn, I really think is going to be an accessory that I order. I'd love to have a Christmas scene on my layout, and so I think that's really cool. The other thing I think is cool is not the $70 fire truck. Where is it? Is this train order building, but it also says PEP accessory activator pack required for operation. What is that? Anybody know what that is?
There we go. So this is as good as mine. I don't even know what that is. Anybody else?
I'm guessing that's just like the accessory activator track piece, or like one of like the IATDs or whatever they're called.
Oh, the ITADs,
yeah. Yeah. Because like the guy comes out as the train passes. Tim's actually got the answer. Go for it.
Let me look that up and give me a couple minutes, and I will go back to
All right. Well,
what that is.
Cool.
While he does that, anybody else have any comments, concerns, fears, doubts? No. No. All right. So, DJ, did you want to say something? Or are you good?
No.
Oh, you good? Okay, just making sure. All right. Well, in that case, that is the end of the catalog for the O-scale stuff. There is some flyer stuff. I'm not gonna go through that because most of us aren't big flyer guys. Tim can invite me later. He's an S-scale guy, but I don't think he's a flyer guy. But we're gonna have our closing remarks on what we liked, what we're gonna get, and what we wish we could have gotten. So I will start off. I really like 90. My wallet says no, so I'm gonna step away. The Grand Canyon Freight passenger set, that is a yes from me. That is going to be a pre-order. If they do a Frisco one, a custom run from somewhere that is the similar style as that engine, I'll have to consider that. The Hobo Box car, for sure. It's a cool sound car. I've just recently gotten into sound cars, so I'll be getting that. Everything else, not for me, but I respect that they're awesome. Or they make people cry, which also brings me joy. So we're going to stick with that. I'm going to throw it over to DJ next. DJ, what is on the list for you?
AC-12 cab forward for sure. Sea Liners with matching cars. Penn Central caboose. And probably that barn for an accessory. And, let's see what the dealers come out with some uncatalogued custom runs as well. But I think that's quite a bit already. So that's definitely what I'm going to be getting. And this was cool. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad to have you on, dude, and thank you so much. MattyC, what is on the list for you, good sir?
Overall, this was a great catalog. Actually, I would say even the 2021, the Volume 1 catalog was great. Just a great catalog year for Lionel. I think they really hit home with a lot of people's wallets because they're releasing a lot of really, really awesome stuff. But yeah, for me, it's not even a not even a question. I'm going to be getting number 90 in her 2000 scheme. That is the paint scheme that's sentimental to me because that is how I operated her last year. Being in the cab of that thing was fantastic, and it's a memory that will stick with me the rest of my life, and it's an engine I need to have. Nicholas Smith has the matching bobber caboose that I pulled when I operated her, so that's a set right there, but that's another thing. But I'm going to be also getting 2 additional passenger cars in the 2000s paint scheme that will match the rest of my set that I have, as well as the Philadelphia and Reading observation car. Those are great, and I'm going to hold off on the Sea Liner only because I want to see what the other 2 potential paint schemes are going to be from Train World. So if they look good, a Titchy might be coming to my layout, as well as those matching passenger cars at some given point, maybe after release. But yeah, that's what I got going on. So great catalog, man.
Awesome, and thank you again for being here. Blake, good sir, you're up next.
Definitely the 1990s number 90 locomotive. Combine and passenger car of the current Strasbourg colored wooden cars, possibly the Paradise Philadelphia and Reading car. I'm not too sure. And I'm gonna hold off on the Sea Liner. I gotta see how much money I get, but I keep forgetting I have other pre-orders from the last catalog that I made already, so I can't buy everything. I do really like the Grand Canyon set. I would love to get that, but there's not enough money in the budget for something like that. Trying to think what else. I'm certainly not buying those $70 fire truck or $4 pipettes. I'm trying to think. I don't remember what else there was. I'm half asleep, so I think that's it for me. Mostly Strasbourg stuff is what I'm getting.
Gotcha. Sounds awesome. And once again, thank you for staying up with us, dude. RJ, what is on the list for you?
Strasbourg 90 in her 2000s paint scheme, a 2-pack of passenger cars. Then we also have the Southern 630 280 from Legacy Station. We've got the Long Island Railroad Sea Liner and the Dashing Dan and the 4 matching passenger cars. My flat car and the $70 fire truck. And then things that I'm iffy on are the $4 pipettes, the Philadelphia and Reading observation car, especially after being at Strasbourg today, hence why I'm half asleep right now. And there's an Amtrak billboard set at the very end of the catalog for like $15. And that's more like, am I going to be like proactive enough to actually pick that up? But yeah, all cool stuff. Thanks for having me on, Johnny.
Yeah, of course. And a partridge in a pear tree for RJ too. Sid, what is on your list?
The 90s version of 90. Just an amazing engine, very historic in the hobby. And then the 6 wood side coaches with the combine pack, and then the other 2 coach packs, and then the yellow Paradise car to be at the end of the set. So then I will have a full Strasbourg set on my layout in my collection. And that's it for me. This is my first ever Lionel pre-order. Definitely a big one for sure. And there's not much else in this catalog that's really for me. Who knows? Things could come on the market that I want. There's also York. Not that I'm really going to be buying anything at York after this catalog, but hey, you never know. So just the Strasbourg set for now. It's just an amazing set. And I'm glad that Lionel has definitely that they are producing this model. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Gotcha. Well, that's awesome, and thank you again for being here with us. Steve, what is on your list?
Yeah, it's the 90 in the 1990s paint scheme. The passenger cars in the current paint scheme. And then, of course, the sea liner. If I find that I can acquire a set down the road, I might get the Grand Canyon, but that's not already on the pre-order. Possibly that hobo car. That would be another one. So that's what is on mine right now.
That sounds awesome. I tell you what, Steve, if I get the Grand Canyon side, if I visit you, I'll bring it. There you go.
There you go.
There we go. But thank you again for staying up with us. And then last but not least, Tim, what is on the horizon for you?
One of the cab forwards. I'm kind of leaning towards the Black Tender version, especially after hearing Deed say that he's going to weather his, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that turns out. And DJ, if I like the way how it looks, I'm sending mine to you. So, you know. And then the other piece is probably going to be a 412-2. Not really sure which version. Won't be a fantasy scheme, nor the Greyhound, nor number 9000 or 9002. We'll find out. And then the last thing is a hobo car. I think that is too cool to pass up, and it'll just bring a lot of life to my boring freight trains with my brown, black, and gray colored freight cars.
You need to have more colorful cars like me, dude. That's what you gotta do.
So do we all have to buy hobo cars now?
Yeah, basically.
Yes. Well, it's like Chris, like hype, you know. We're just gonna feed into the hype and all get in a hobo car.
I feel like if I don't buy one, then it's gonna be like down the road. It's gonna be a more expensive car because everyone's like, "Oh my God, this was the coolest car that they put in these 2 catalogs." Let me tell you. So
I feel
they did it in One More Road name.
Yeah.
Pennsy.
If they do it in Pennsy, I'm screwed.
I don't even know if I have a train that it would even fit with. I have freight trains, but mainly I have a reefer train and then a Coltrane, I'm like, I don't have really any mixed Fritz, so I'll see what they look like and what they sound like on a demos with Dave. If they sound amazing, I'm definitely gonna pick one up because I don't have any sound box cars, and it would be cool to have a very unique one as my first.
Oh yeah,
Right,
for
sorry
sure.
to sidetrack the conversation.
Nah, no worries. These
Anyway.
are awesome cars. But yeah, let's wrap this up because it is past midnight for you guys on the East Coast. It is 11 here in the Midwest. But I would like to thank every single one of you guys for staying up late and talking with us. This has been a very fun, almost 3-hour recording here. A lot of cool stuff. Really excited for this year. And I think tonight, with all the folks who are here and who have popped in and out of the call tonight, I think this shows that the hobby is not dying. We have a great community here. I'm so glad to have all of you here and to call you all friends, and I hope to get to meet all of you very soon. So you guys all take care. Everyone, thank you for watching. You managed to make it to the end, and we'll see what's in store. So I guess I gotta go to editing this for the next several days. So see you guys. Thank you so much, and make sure to check out everybody in the description below. See you guys.